In a world where creatures of myth and legend exist, a covert task force is charged with keeping humanity safe from supernatural threats. And when young Nancy Moon stumbles into the eternal battle between good and evil, she finds... Oh my god, will you shut up? What's happening? Agent Beckett here. Aren't you tired of stuff like that? Want something different? Roll the tape. Whoops. Sorry about that. That's a song I'm writing for my ex. Okay, here we go. Yeah, that's more like it. Alrighty. Welcome to the world of the mythicals. We have it all. Monsters. Magic. Government agents. He's the strong silent type. This guy. Ugh, gross, dude. Get some kind of cream or something. Lots of 90s style action. Pew pew pew. And that strong female lead alluded to earlier. Not to mention a dashing field commander with a great sense of fashion. Look at those glasses. South River Studios presents The Mythicals, Issue 1. Buy it, if you dare. Ugh, will you can it already? How'd you get free? Now beat it before I lose my cool. So what are you waiting for? Sign up today. Like right now.
Sign up today on Indiegogo.
In the middle of the night, or early Friday morning, depending upon where you are in the world, a group of experienced comics professionals get together to examine and instruct about the art form that they love. That's great comic artwork on Comics by Night, Fridays at 5 a.m. Eastern, here on the Indie Comics Network, indiecomicsnetwork.com.
What was that? This is not a charade.
Epsilon City needs heroes, but will Scratch, the Chrome Dog, have what it takes to answer the call? Beck, Chrome Dog, starting February 3rd on Indiegogo.
a crowd! What a crowd!
What a crowd! I love when
My
that
goodness.
happens. Luke and I will be chatting, and somebody will pop in, and then the intro runs, and then the entire world is in our
know
chat.
here.
That's what I love to see. You've got Marv V, Pedro, Zim. How is everybody doing?
I appreciate the thought that you think I am your entire world.
Yeah, that's nice.
Randy.
I got nothing but
Actually,
love
you're
for you,
my
Randy.
world.
How are you feeling, Nick?
Oh, I'm sick as a dog. I'm on about day 3 of.
Nick
You know
is
what?
rough.
I'm almost okay with it because if I keep coughing, I'm gonna have abs like crazy. Because
That works, yeah.
you gotta keep perspective. But I'm
Abs
like,
like crazy. It's what it
Come on,
takes,
have you-
man.
have you ever been
Getting
so
in
sick that
gains.
you get ripped from it? Like the trick is not to cough so much you pull stuff.
I don't
Well,
know. I live
you
in the
know.
tropics, so sickness tend to be very harsh.
There
down here.
was that one time I got so sick that I lost a ton of weight. So yeah, I kind of feel you.
Yeah.
It is possible.
How cool is it to have Marv E here? This is so
Yeah, I
cool.
think it's great.
Marv V. What's up, man?
Crowded day. Oh,
Love it.
My goodness, it is a. So
Not-
it's a
not
windy
just-
day here.
Not just
yeah.
that, but Marv V has his life jacket on, so it's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Happy
it's got
Tuesday.
Is it cold, Marv?
a little bit, yeah. But I just got home from another district, and I knew that I have some time to be with you guys. So
Wait, from another what?
district.
district.
District. I thought he said Dick Straight. It's like,
I heard Dick
I was-
Twist.
I was
I'm not
like,
sure
I knew
why.
what he
oh, like,
I knew what he
Oh.
meant.
I'm like,
Yeah,
okay,
it's
that's-
gonna
that's-
be-
pretty,
it's
man.
gonna be a show,
I'm like,
folks.
do your thing. I'm like, yeah, do your thing, guy, man. That's what we do.
That's
You
what
do your
she said.
thing. So yeah, that's what she said. So yeah, man, it's been a long week. Last week I was in sunny Jacksonville. As you can see, Bob made the trip out here in the plains and with all the cows and corn. We've got he's feeling a little more southern. He's wearing his cap today.
Nice.
Hopefully next week I'll have my backdrop ready and it'll look all pretty. And then you can see all my lightsabers up. I'm gonna try to display all of them.
Well, at least he doesn't look like he's peeing in the corner again, still. So.
Right, I really like that one though. I thought that one was the best.
Yeah, that was
That was the
solid.
best so far. So it turns out that so I had not seen the house when we agreed to move in here, and it is huge, guys.
Nice.
I mean, it's massive. It's a massive Victorian, like I'm in one of what used to be one of the servants' quarters, and there's a servant's staircase that goes straight down to the kitchen.
Right where you belong.
The house
Right,
is that
right.
old, you're saying? Yeah.
It's that old.
Oh,
But there's
crap.
also a room in the
Awesome.
basement where they had slaves for the Underground Railroad.
Mhm.
So yeah, so there's a hole down there and a whole other room behind this where there would have been a shelving unit to hide them. Yeah,
Didn't you used to do ghost hunting?
I did. Yeah.
Are you starting to get that itch as you wander the
Well,
house?
let me put it this way. When we came up, the house is like me. It's got a solid foundation, and the framework is really good and solid, but it has been abused and let go. So it's in need of a lot of tender loving care, and we are going to do that for it. But it looks like the haunted house
Well,
on the
we just
block.
lost Marv.
Yeah, we did. But it looks like the
Looks gonna play
the
some
haunted house on
Marvin
the block.
Gaye while it works on the house. Give it some
Yeah.
sexual healing.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Oh boy.
not
Don't
that kind
hump
of
the
loving.
walls.
Dang,
Yeah.
it's like
Well, he said it has good
my brother was
bones,
like, "What is
so-
going on in the house there?"
Yeah, he went Marvin
Oh, that's not that kind of
Marvin
bones,
went.
man.
Yeah, knock on it. Make sure it's got good wood, right? Let's just
It's
keep
got
it
good
going.
wood.
Keep
Yeah.
it going.
Oh my
Well,
gosh.
you want to make sure all the support beams are solid.
That's what she said.
Nice.
Perfect timing.
Nothing
on
without
that
good
one,
wood. Yeah.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
starting today spicy because I'm waiting for the Tylenol
Right
to kick in
on.
from my computer break. So I'm a little more
Yeah.
You don't really love
today.
Marvin, man.
It was too
Yeah.
much for Marvin. It was just too much.
It was. He was like, "I'm
Like,
over
this
it."
is too
He
much
has
sin to kill.
Way too much
And-
innuendo going on here today.
Yeah.
So, oh, he's back. We got Marv back. Hold on.
Oh,
Let me find my. It took forever to set up my desk too. It's quite a challenge. But here I am. Here I am. I'm in Indiana. Back
On the
home
road
again in Indiana.
Indiana.
And there's more than corn in Indiana, they say.
There's Indiana Beach.
That's Iowa. Or Nebraska.
There is not more than
Nebraska
corn in
is
Iowa.
corn.
Well, I have
Nebraska
to
is
ask.
corn.
I have to ask.
Nebraska's corn.
I thought Kokomo was in some like beach location, like the song.
There is.
The Beach
Yeah.
Boys song.
There is.
Is it
Yeah.
not spelled the same? Or?
See, okay, I'm
Spelled
sorry.
the
Like you
exact
don't
same.
know Indiana. I can actually explain this. There are all sorts of names of cities in Indiana that are named after places people would rather be.
Actually, Kokomo is named after Chief Kokomoko,
Okay.
the Indian
That's cool.
chief that was over that particular territory when the white man came in and kicked him out.
Yeah, I definitely need to.
Oh, you guys do that,
the
too.
land of my home.
It's what it is, yeah.
My homeland, my ancestral land, since obviously, I mean, I do have family that hails from Indiana. My dad was actually born in Rushville, so.
Rushville, yeah, I've been to Rushville several times, yeah.
Yep.
I've been through Rushville. There's not much in Rushville.
Well, that's probably
doesn't
why he
stop
moved
in
to
Rushville?
Tennessee. So.
One does not simply stop in Rushville.
Oh,
You just
gosh.
keep going on.
Look, don't look both ways. Just look straight ahead. Whatever you hear,
Yeah.
don't listen.
Nick, you've
Whatever-
been sick, right?
Yes.
Ben,
Yes.
Why'd you go off and get sick, man?
Well, you know what? What happened is I went up and I visited my lovely. I have 7 nieces and nephews up north, and we had put off seeing my mom's birthday because the weather was so bad it was impassable. And we went up to see them, and every time I love them and I love my family, but every time I see my family, I end up sick as a dog. It's just
Oh, it's some germs.
just a thing.
Some little kid germs, man.
Oh yeah. I love kids. I worked with kids. Next week I'll be running another program for the kids. I'll be doing an intro to art program at the library because I do things like that.
Okay.
But God, do I get sick every time?
Dude, I love kids from afar, man. Like, I
Right.
used to own a school, and those little pests wait until you're yawning so they can cough in your mouth. Screw that.
Yep.
I'm not doing that.
Wow. Okay.
He's
I
not
agree.
wrong.
I love Pedro keeps it real, man. Pedro keeps it very real, very real.
Well, there's a lot of real here.
Yeah.
Randy, what's going on, man?
busy week like you. Well,
Yeah.
I didn't move like you did, but I was working on a big commercial job. I just dropped off
Sweet.
yesterday. Totally exhausted. all
Payday?
day yesterday.
Oh.
Payday is tomorrow.
Awesome.
Payday.
I have to cut another.
Payday.
I have to cut a sign today and run it over to them tomorrow and pick up 2 checks. So,
Dude, Payday, or as we call it down here, sex night.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Do you have to pay for that there, Pedro?
No, but the wife gets happy, you know. So you're
Okay.
making the groceries, you get rewarded.
You get
At least
rewarded.
it's on your
That's not
schedule.
transactional.
It's on the schedule.
At least it's
Yeah,
on your
Pedro-
schedule. That's important. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not transactional.
Yeah.
It's more like a residue of happiness. Oh my god.
A residue
you know
of
that food?
happiness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Residue
That's funny.
of
Every
happiness.
time I point to it on my calendar, the wife just looks at me and laughs.
Wait a second. How was that not an emo band?
And she goes and she points back to your hand, right?
Yeah.
That's it. It's like we're here.
No, thank you. No.
We're here.
Yeah, no.
It's the
Yeah,
time
no.
of the month. It's
That's pretty
There's
much
nothing-
what it is too. That's anyway. Never mind.
Did you hear about the 90-year-old man? For his birthday, his wife comes in and says, "Sweetie, for your birthday, I'm going to give you some super sex." He sits there and he looks at her for a minute and he goes, I'll have this soup.
Well, I mean,
I don't have this soup. Okay.
if you're 90,
Let Marv catch up with that one. It's like, okay, I get it now.
Took a second. Grenade humor, always the best.
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
I actually had a really neat show. Yesterday, went 3 hours. I had 3 ladies on, and we talked about women in publishing.
nice.
It got really it got interesting. the female views of being independent creators and stuff. It was really a neat show. And see, that's how you actually do representation. You don't shove it down people's throats.
Right.
You say, here's a platform. Tell us what you think. And
Enjoy
then
the
people can
platform
decide
for
what
a
they
moment.
think about what you told.
I apologize for. I got to get I finally got the microphone up on a boom arm.
Right.
I need to get a damper, shock damper for it. I feels like it resonates the sound more coming through the desk. So if you hear some weird sounds, sorry guys.
Yeah, like
Either
a
that or it's
gong.
the ghosts. I
And
mean, this house is 140 years old.
It's echoing across the walls of the room is what it is. Your sound is bouncing around.
Oh, is it?
yeah, that's the thing.
It sounds
When
like
you
you're
get
in a big room.
Yeah.
I'm in a big room.
Yeah.
I'll be soundproofing things in here too. I've got
Yeah.
some soundproofing foam. I'll be filling up right in front of me.
That'll help.
So that it doesn't bounce. Yeah. Just man, we were just able to get done in time. Like we're up and we're running. None of my special lights are up, but the camera and the mic and the computer are working.
That's all
Speaking
you
of
can
working
ask
today,
someday.
yeah, today I'm hopefully gonna get 2 more pages finished off.
We do what we can.
Yeah.
Speaking of finish off, how excited are you for the upcoming campaign?
I am very excited. Next Thursday we're gonna launch right here.
Yes.
Right here on the Nerd Bacon. The double header.
Mm-hmm.
It's a double header. It is the RPG and the trade paperback for the Killing Field. So yeah, we're gonna be moving right along.
I'm like malicious compliance happy because I've had 3 years of people telling me, he nearly died. It's not gonna happen. This is
Screw that.
gonna happen.
Screw that noise. It's happening.
I
Oh,
want y'all to see it. I want y'all to see.
Eric Hodson, you're in the chat. Check this out. I am having some cherry bourbon coffee right now.
That sounds delicious.
Oh, and it is delicious. Let me tell you. Yeah, so I'm sending your sample tomorrow. I gotta find out the right packaging.
I have something to show you. Finally, the Bureau made it down to Panama, and I have finally the physical copies of my book.
Tropical Magic!
Yes.
Look at that! That is awesome.
Dude. And I've already made 3 tropical sales. And
You've made 3 tropical sales.
Yeah, Latinos,
for Tropical Magic.
That's magic.
Latinos don't read comics. I mean, Latinos, especially in Panama, if you live in a hot country, people just want to drink beers and slap asses. There's not much reading being done. So selling 3 copies down here, like
Dude, that sounds like a cold country too.
I was going to say, sounds like a rough life.
Yeah, it's horrible. This CNS
It's a hard knock life.
and they just look back and smile.
For me.
Yeah, it's just
Justin launched a book this week.
You said not. You said
Who, me?
yeah.
Yeah.
Me?
Yeah.
No, I what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Dude.
Yes, I did.
Something
tell
with
you what.
what was it? A shiny dog, or
Yes.
Dog.
Shimmer
For
Pup.
sure. He's
Shimmer
one. He's
Pup.
one that won't. He's one that won't rust easily. We'll say that.
Yeah.
But yes, it's been a wild ride, and I'm enjoying every minute of it. Really.
Awesome, dude.
Right?
I mean,
And that Aaron Lopresti cover?
What?
What
Oh my
the-
gosh! I cannot wait.
It's nice.
Oh my gosh! Like I can't
Dear.
wait to see it in all its colorful. Just.
We're gonna take a look at it here in a bit, man. We're gonna take a
but
look at it
I'm
here in a
telling you,
bit.
those inks.
Yeah.
He really nailed that. Spoiler alert. You can call me Captain Spoiler if you want. I don't care. But yeah, that alternate cover. That's definitely the first or the last couple pages of the book, and so he this epic fight.
Wow, Captain Spoilers.
Yeah,
Stop it.
man. Yeah, man.
Wait. You're saying the cover of your comic book
Yes.
has something
Yes.
to do with the interior?
Yeah.
Wait,
Can you imagine?
I'm sorry. What has anyone told mainstream comics they could do that? I mean, this is revolutionary.
Oh, yeah,
and,
dude.
and it's dynamic. It's a very dynamic cover. The Lopresti variant is definitely dynamic as compared
Yes.
to
Yes.
Justin,
the
you're
Jones
So
we
far,
see.
it's dynamic.
How dare you have your
I
cover
know, right?
something to do with the interior
But,
of your book?
So I set up
Yeah.
today's stream hastily on my phone while in a hotel room. Has hunger for profits. I meant Profit.
No, you know what though? I figure
But-
that's on brand for you.
It is on brand because you know what?
Nice play on
It
words.
is a play on words a little bit.
Yeah.
Because part of what we're talking about is the speculation of what people are wanting to try to earn dollars with. They're looking for, they've got all these variant covers. They've got people are writing comic books to try to turn them into TV shows and things like that.
Yeah.
Some things we're going to be talking about today, and it's almost like they're trying to get a sense of where the money's at, and so we're gonna be talking about that today. We're also going to have a special guest. Hopefully, he'll be here today. The creator of Homeboy. I've talked about this guy a lot. This is the dude that dresses up as his character and sells his book off of his trunk
Wow.
in the parking lots of his community, like at the store. People be coming out. It's like, hey, you like comic books? Here's my book, and you'll pitch the book to them. And so, very good. We've got T Bunny here today.
Oh.
Hey, what's up, T-Bunny?
Nick Tucker fanboy.
Yeah.
Was that what that says?
Fan club.
Fan club. Nick Tucker fan club.
Yeah.
Hey,
Whenever there's a
T-Bunny,
yang, there's a yang.
I appreciate the love. It's nice.
Yeah.
No, it really is.
He's really trying to, because here's the thing. Here's what I know about Cooper. Cooper is the kind of guy that just comes across a little salty, if you will. And but he's not a salty guy.
Oh no. I've been on a lot of shows with them, and see, one thing I love, and I really do, I love people I can intellectually disagree with, who have a sense of humor, because sometimes this may shock you, but if I'm presented with information that I can verify is correct, and it's counter to my opinion, I change my opinion, and that's not being wishy-washy. That's called, scientific method. You're allowed to do that. So I
You're allowed.
deliberately avoid echo chambers. I try to get in situations where I can hear the other side of the story. And
Speaking
somebody
of
like
echo chambers,
me
let's see who's in the
is
chat.
for that.
Yeah, dude.
Plus, there are times where you want to have
He's just
a
gonna keep
recreational
going.
argument.
Look at how I just segue right into that. Speaking of echo chambers, let's see who's in the chat.
No, but there he goes. He just keeps on going.
Our chat is not an echo chamber. But we've got Agent Zero.
No.
We've got Agent Zero here. And we've got a lot of people here on the panel.
You got too many trolls over there.
We've got a lot of folks here today. So Pedro last week, he trolled me all week. So
Did I? Wow.
So let's see what he does this week.
That's a serious accusation, sir.
Wow.
Agent Zero in the chat and on the panel. Welcome. Mark V in the chat and on the panel. Look at that. 86%.
Oh my
funded.
god.
Guys,
Awesome.
let me get some mods to throw that
Nice
link.
roll reference.
Throw that
I
link
love that horror movie.
into the chat so people can back that book. We'll take a look at that campaign later today. Of course we will.
Oh, yeah.
We've got Dreaded Dinosaur,
Hey.
Eric Hodson in the house.
Awesome
Welcome.
idea.
Grey Wolf is in the house as well. Hail chat. It's great to have you here today. We've got the comic book Black Belt in the house, Russ Leach.
Russ, please.
Man, I'll tell you
I
what.
love Russell's shows. If
He is.
you want to learn how to do it, it's required viewing.
Folks, we got professionals out there watching the show today.
He'll
We've
tell
got
you how to do it.
He will tell you how to do it. In fact, he might have written the book on it.
Nuts, nuts, wink, wink, say no more.
Well, Russ did do the book, one of the books, the Drawn the Marvel Way. He was a part of that.
You sure he just didn't do the illustrations?
Well, he did some
Wow. T-Bunny swinging author versus artist on that one. Bam. Oh, God.
of it. Sorry, everyone. T had to go.
From the top rope.
Joke's on me because Bunny has the keys too. He could throw himself back in anytime he wants.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, we got
You can
Imperium
change
Vol
the
here.
locks.
Welcome, welcome Imperium Vol. It's great to have you here today. Yes, welcome. Hojo's in the house. Welcome. It's great to have you here today. Critical Blast is in the house. Welcome. It's nice to have you. Welcome to the Bacon Nation, everyone. Dr. Matt Masks Retro Elixir is here. Elixir, welcome. It's nice to have you here today.
That is a great name.
I love it.
I'm sorry, I'm a pulp fan. I love pulp. I'm reading a book called Bishop Kincaid. About Bishop Kincaid. It's called the Rembrandt Stratagem, and I'm in a pulpy mood. I'm just in that two-fisted heroes doing that. Dr. Masks Retro Elixir. That sounds like a pulp title that I would be all over. You know what I'm saying?
And that's what she said. Anyway, James Hayes is in the house. Welcome, my friend. It's great to have you here. We got I don't mean to bother. I am making my rounds to help a friend. A few hours ago, CG's Doc Blaylock had his book shadow banned by IGG, and he's just in the email sign-up list. That sucks. I've been shadow banned. Shoot us over his link, and we're going to help out Doc Blaylock. Yeah. Because we do not believe in being shadow banned. Oh, real quick update on Fund My Comic. I did speak with Dave last night, our developer. Mm-hmm. They are hard at work. Okay, they have had to slow down a little bit because this is an internal project, and they've got to be able to pay the salaries of the people working on this. So they've had to switch over to start doing some more client work so that they can have the money to keep them on this internal project. And they've paused all their other internal projects to make this their priority. So it is happening, and marketing has decided not to update the timeline until they're positive after the tests are done that they can meet the timeline. They feel terrible about over-promising, under-delivering. So they're wanting to make sure that moving forward, they've got a timeline that we can hang our hats on. So that's what's going on. So in the meantime, until we get a little further with that, myself and other people that are close to the project included will be crowdfunding on whatever platform we can get to until Fund My Comic is ready to house us. But Fund My Comic is coming.
Yeah. It's all about transparency and communication.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was a little frustrated because Dave hadn't gotten back with me in a minute through all this, and he apologized for that. He's like, I've been very busy trying to juggle all this stuff. He hadn't really checked Twitter messages. That's the primary way that we communicate is through Twitter, and so he hadn't had a chance to really check those things and to get in touch. So he's had to. In order to keep the guys paid, they've had to take on their client work and kind of focus on that. And so they are full steam ahead on this, but it is now, we're waiting.
I am torn on my reaction to this because part of me is like, didn't you already get money from Luke and them? Shouldn't part of that have covered
not much? Trust me, this is a $125,000 investment, and I did a project, and I did not put in near that much. So
no, but
comparatively speaking,
on one side, I said I'm torn because on one side I'm annoyed, and I'm going to be honest. I think a lot of the fans are.
I am annoyed too.
Happen, and there's no shame in venting that you're annoyed.
Right.
But on the other side, I'd rather have them do what they have to do to pay their workers because they're not mid-level comic producers.
Sick burn.
Ouch.
I'm sorry.
Nice.
I'm
mid-level. I'm shooting for the stars, baby.
No.
We're talking about the guys that got that didn't get paid. These publishers.
That gave me heartburn, man. Wow.
His publisher's not paying. Yeah, he's paying his workers, so that's.
So I got.
They're not working for free over there.
The guy who's paying his workers and he's being transparent about stuff.
Yep. I'm about an hour away, hour-ish away from Santa Claus, Indiana. I'm 35 minutes away from Jasper, where they make the transmissions and engines.
Okay.
I am an hour from Brown County. I am 3 hours from Clarksville. 3 hours from Bowling Green.
That's a town I don't want to be. That's a town I don't want to be shot at in.
5 or 6 hours from Chicago.
We both went
So
there.
close to me. I love it.
I'll take the last train there any day. Yes. Yes. We do need Fund My Comic. It is coming, my friend. I promise it is coming. Much slower than we had hoped. Darn it. It is.
Yeah. It's coming hard.
Welcome, Dawn. Nice to have you in the chat today. The Fizzard is in the house. Nice to have the Fizzard here today.
Yeah, that's what she said.
For the win. We know
Man, I'm just.
Yeah, your two primary hosts both have fevers, and we're both just a little delusional right now. So, like, honesty is coming out, and absent-mindedness.
It's gonna be a fun day.
Legend.
Fun day, fun day. Ready.
Bunny over there.
Critical Blast says he sent that book to you 6 years ago.
Dude, I'm not
Sent that book to
joking.
you 6 years ago, man.
Things fell to Central America by burro. The burro said UPS on the side. It was very cute burro, but it's slow. That's why.
Oh, here might be the problem. James says that Blaylock's book has been in sign up for 6 months. After 6 months, they take you off the list because they don't think that you're gonna. You have to launch within 6 months, or else they do take you off the list. So he's probably not shadow banned. He's just taking too long.
Yeah.
If that's the case.
I mean,
What, Luke? Luke and I've had certain conversations.
I take too long.
Be, voiced here. But scrolling ahead, Grey Wolf Graphics says, I lived in Nineveh, just a bit above Brown County. Ain't that funny, Luke?
I want you to shut up right now. Just shut up, Nick. We've often joked that right now I'm going through a Jonah situation, and Indiana is my Nineveh.
Right.
I did not want to come to Indiana. I tried to avoid it at all costs, as many of you may know. Welcome, Red Dress Press. That's Sugar Chris in the house. Nice to have you here today.
Newest celebrity.
Aaron, our newest celebrity. Aaron, Wolfsbane Comics, is here in the house today. Let me see who else do we got. Who else do we have here today? Let's welcome who else we got going. We'll try to get into the chat as much as we can. Immortal Rising is in the house. Welcome. It's great to have you here today. And Dave Brink is in the house as well.
Our Dutch celebrity.
Guys, can you keep an eye on the chat for me and let me know if there's anything that we do need to discuss?
Right.
And I want to go ahead and start jumping in to our topic of conversation today, if we can. And let me go ahead and pull this up.
I'll get it.
Randy shared a wonderful article with us earlier in the week and said, hey, maybe we can talk about this. And you know what? Absolutely. We could and should talk about this. I'm going to move us down here so we've got more screen to work with. And so here is what we're working with today. This is an article that is found on CBR.com, which typically does not have the most accurate reporting. Not necessarily accurate. They just don't report some crap at all, like they should. Like, you can't find anything about Rippaverse on there, which makes no sense at all when an independent comic book by a black man featuring a primary black set of characters.
My wife used them and did not tell me. I was going to eat bacon bits. For the person for Aaron, who was complaining that we don't eat bacon on the show, and I knew I had bacon bits. So I apologize. This time, any false advertising is due to my wife making a kick-butt mac and cheese with bacon bits last night, and I forgot because I'm kind of evil. Sorry. Now, what's going on with the worst trends in modern comics?
This is an article they wrote. They put out January 1st of this year. Now, this sounds very similar to the things that we've been talking about for a long time. They're finally talking about it. When you start seeing mainstream people catching up with what we're talking about here. So here are some of the trends that we're talking about today. And we're going to start out with number 10. Some comic books are clearly written to be TV shows and movies. We talked about this already. Right now we're seeing a lot of comic books that lack the imagination and the depth of what they could be. Look, it is cheap to do all kinds of special effects, to do outer space.
Infinite budget. You have
all you
my
need.
man J. Scott Campbell went off on this. You have an infinite budget. Oh, you want to have a helicopter?
Probably
2 helicopters shooting it at a Lamborghini. You can do that. You don't need to worry about insurance. But no, we have to dial it down because they may make a movie out of it. Get out of my media. I'm sorry.
Get out of my media.
Storyboard by storyboard.
Even then, Grey Wolf, he'd have probably been ignored because he's not one of them.
Yeah. His politics makes all the difference.
Yep.
I mean, look at Milo Yiannopoulos.
I'd try not to.
I don't know that I've ever met a gayer man than that. And his politics didn't line up. Heck, I didn't agree with him half the time. I mean, he's ultra conservative, but
flamingly so.
Yeah. So your guys' thoughts on this, man? Come on, let's chime in.
Dude, I don't know. It's like they're discovering water sweat or something. This is like 7 years too late.
Right. Yeah, we've noticed this for a while. That's like
about 95% of what CBR prints as news is just solid trash. But here it's them actually waking up. They're standing in a half-crowded theater that's on fire going, do I smell any smoke?
Yeah.
Is that smoke?
And not only that, like, it's disingenuous.
It's fine.
They've been supporting this. Yeah, they've been supporting this behavior for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
they totally ignored all of this for the last 10, 12, 15, 20 years.
Yeah. I'm working on a graphic novel that actually was first set up to be a movie. And I don't know if I'm allowed to say it, but I'll say it. I'm not going to name the title. But Christina Ricci was set to be the main character. She was signed on to be the main character of this movie. And so it is the writer has decided he is a filmmaker and he wants to eventually do the film, but he's decided to do the graphic novel first because he wants the time to get the look and feel just right. And instead of trying to do storyboards for the movie, he wants a graphic novel where people can enjoy it, and then he just hands that over and says, here, let's make this. So basically everything that happens in that, and so we get to give it that graphic novel comic book feel, because that's kind of what he wants in there. And so sometimes it works to make a graphic novel or a comic that is going to be a movie, but this isn't about superheroes.
Anytime you see
people.
a comic book that has a eating scene where people are around a table, that's meant to be a shooting script.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you see that all the time, but it's boring in comics, but it's less boring on a movie screen or television screen or whatever.
Yeah.
And so anytime you
makes
see that,
sense
then you
there.
know
Yeah.
that this was meant to be on a television show somewhere.
Yeah.
Luke, before we go any further, because we're going to stay on topic and I don't want to for a moment, please tell me you're using Christina Ricci as the basis of the design of the main character as you draw her up, because that just makes me happy.
Yes.
And that is a thing of beauty,
Yes. Of course.
That's gorgeous.
The actors and actresses that he wishes to cast, the character designs are loosely based on them. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, that happened with The Boys. Like, the first design for Huey was Simon Pegg. And now Simon Pegg was the father of Huey in the series. So, yeah, that's cool. Like, I'm kind of a laissez-faire in this. Like, people are free to do what they want. Like, I mean, if you want to make a graphic novel for your movie, do so. but know that your story is going to be hindered in the graphic novel because you're not thinking like a comic book artist. You're thinking like a storyboard artist. Now, I'm a storyboard artist, and I was a storyboard artist first.
Yeah.
So I know the difference. The pacing is completely different. Like Ross is completely
different.
Absolutely right. The pacing is different. The page turning, the panel, you're not constricted to the 69 or 231 of cinema or TV. So the storytelling is affected. How you use the camera, it's a different medium.
Yeah. So as he's telling the story and he's tried to set it up as a graphic novel, I'm going through and I'm like, yeah, it actually would look better like this for a graphic novel. And so I pace it. I'm pacing each scene and hopefully he's happy with the work I'm doing.
Yeah.
But it's fun because not every story needs to be about superheroes.
Yeah.
But they can be action, suspense, thriller, stuff like that.
Thank you.
And this is great because we're putting together a story that I'm excited to have told. And I'm excited to be a part of it. And I think it's going to look great as a graphic novel. And I think it's going to look great as a movie. There's definitely going to be some differences. And I'm going to be really happy when it's on the big screen because I'm going to be like, look, I helped make the look and feel of that book, of that story, what it is. You know, I had a hand in being able to contribute to that. And it's okay to do that. I really like these. I had a great idea first, a sitcom, I guess, about brothers. But it's 3 guys that fell in love with 3 sisters and married those sisters, right? And they're actually brother-in-laws. But they kind of get into like stuff together. They've become real good buddies, you know, because me and my brother-in-law were driving across country. He was in one truck, I was in the other, right? And I started thinking, it's funny, like this guy is, like he's my brother. But it's only because we both fell in love with girls that were related, that were brothers. It's weird how that worked out. So I was like, that'd be a fun concept for a story, right? And I was like, but that would be a really boring comic book. Like, it would not work as a comic book at all. Maybe a novel it would work, but it definitely would not work as a comic book. And I was watching
unless it was
Two
a
Broke
Superman
Girls.
Batman story.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Yeah, right?
You can call
Maybe
that incest borderline or something. But
that's disgusting, dude.
It's horrible.
Okay, you made it weird. You made it weird.
All right. Pedro, you're about to lose your mic privileges, I'm telling you. We're putting him in timeout for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But no, I think it's possible. To do it well, but there are too many comic books that are clearly written to be in movies, and CBR is finally catching up with us there.
God bless them.
Number 9, decompression is okay, but comic readers still like shorter arcs.
Da-da-da.
Yeah.
I'm about to send CBR like a box of cookies or something. They're earning them.
Yeah.
They wouldn't even know what
Sure, they're Milanos.
So,
you know what? They
Batmobile
almost
road trip.
did that with the Batman Harley Quinn animated series.
Yeah.
Black Belt. They did a special with Batman and Harley Quinn riding around in the Gotham. A large part of it was them.
Well, remember when you could pick up a single issue and it was a self-contained story?
He does live in Colombia.
Yeah.
I was going to say, and when it comes to what is mislabeled as floppies, decompression is never okay. That is a device that's more adequate for a graphic novel, not for a 32-page comic story. That's what makes the 2-parter, the 3-parters, the 4-parters so important, is that there's so much action and so much clipping along.
Right. It's why the Killing Field arc has been received so well, because that's probably on standard 5 to 6 books worth of material in 4. I mean, it's action on top of action. The next arc is only 3 issues. Talk about compression. Like, it is compressed. There's going to be a couple of so I really like the show The Middle. And it does not matter where on that show you grab an episode. You can just watch it. You don't have to know about the backstory beforehand or any of that stuff. It's not like a Hallmark show where, where it just kind of gets lost in it. it's the same characters doing the same things, just in different ways, you know, and it's entertaining and it's fun. I used to be able to pick up, you know, Archie comics were that way, you know, and that's what made them very popular. Is you could pick up one, and it could be issue 142, and you didn't have to read issues 1 through 141 to get it, to understand 142. No. You know,
but that requires a talented writer. That's the problem.
You go back and look at the Golden Age stories. Those books, those comics are 64 pages thick, with 8 stories in them, and all 8 of those stories are the equivalent of a 6-issue arc on any of these titles anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, you get full beginning, middle, and end.
Stories, yeah.
Yep, full stories. You look at any Spirit sections that are out there by Will Eisner, 7 pages of what it takes folks now 6 issues to do.
So, you know, I have
7 pages every week.
My goal with...
do you guys think decompression is a type of gatekeeping?
Decompression is a device that is attributed to Brian Bendis for getting paid 6 times as much for a story he should have been paid once for.
Right.
In order to make it fit a graphic novel.
BMB is like the source, the patient zero for a lot of bad trends. A lot of bad trends.
Well,
and unfortunately, it's spread throughout the industry, so everything now is pretty much decompressed.
Well, so far, the 2 things we've talked about equals more money from the fans.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what it means. It means you're spending... So, yeah, people complain about crowdfunded books being $25 for 40 pages, but it's a full story in 40 pages. So you're paying $25. Sometimes, actually right now, you're paying $25 for 140 pages plus. Is really where your price breaks are right now, with a lot of the books that you find in crowdfunded books. So
my goal with Chrome Dog is after the first 3 issues, you know, it's going to be contained story arc. But after that, I plan on just running with single issue, you know, storylines to, you know, until I reach a certain area where I want to, you know, do like a 2-parter or 3-parter here or there. But I would like to get in that mode of, hey, here's an episode.
Yeah, but what you're getting here with these long drawn out series is it's people that have money to keep having a pull list every week.
Yeah,
you know,
they're writing.
It
they're writing
keeping
stories.
The retailers afloat right now. Yeah.
Yeah,
for the readers. Yeah.
They're doing things that are meant to try to get picked up by movies or TVs series because they want more money. It's all about more money.
Yeah.
Right. Where when you compress it, it's about entertainment and value to fans.
Yep.
That's the difference, and that's what you're running into.
Yeah, dude. And the thing is, like, there's nothing wrong with more money. Just earn it, dude. Earn
it the right way is my my thought.
And there is a difference between good decompressed storytelling and just being flat out lazy and stretching a story across 6 issues so that you get paid 6 times as much. Yeah.
You can tell when there's been fluff added.
Yeah.
You know, some things don't need to be long. Some things need to be a little shorter, and that's what she said.
Hey, you have to just think about.
Does everybody have a favorite? Does everybody have a favorite one shot? My favorite one shot is a Daredevil versus Claw. That was like came out of nowhere. It's a really beautiful 32 pager, and that's one of the first comic books I had.
Was it the Council of the Owls or something like that? Recently, in the last 5 or so years, they did Batman and this new villain that they were working on, this Owl.
The Council, Talon?
Or something like that. So they were working on that. That could have been a one-shot, but it was a drawn-out series that I never finished because I was like, there was too much fluff.
Yeah.
I mean, just get to the point, folks.
It's very unsatisfying not to finish.
See, I love the format that Luke does, where you have layered arcs. Why can't we just have that, where, you know, here's a short arc, and this is, 3 short arcs make up a big arc. Each individual book is like an episode. You know, it's not that.
Well,
Yes.
we're gonna be
Back
launching.
in Black. Aaron's right on that one. I don't
that
care
was a
what
good
anybody
one.
says. I love that,
Yeah.
and
Court
I
of
actually
Owls,
like
that's it.
a lot
Thank
of the
Yeah.
One More Day for the same reason. Of it was time for Peter Parker, the man, to kind of
Right.
step. To me, that felt like all up until that, Peter Parker was really trapped in the teenage to maybe early 20s where you're not really solidified. But the Peter Parker who went out there took off the Spider-Man suit to say Spider-Man wouldn't do this. But
Peter Parker would.
beat the crap out of the Kingpin in front of everybody and then informed him I could have and I still can kill you anytime I want.
Yeah.
And it's like
When Peter Parker
holy
gets
smokes.
mad, he gets scary.
Yeah, you know, I'm sorry. I love when I have this thing about when characters decide enough is enough, and they get up and they, cut fence and sort some things out. Because there's a time where it just needs done. And Peter Parker.
Well, when Peter Parker beat down Titania in the Secret Wars, it's still the
Yeah.
most brutal thing I've ever seen in comic books.
Yeah,
Because
you know what?
he
This
insulted
is
her the
yeah,
whole
this is
time and told her she couldn't do a thing about it, and he beat her down.
Yeah.
You know,
This is reminding me of a
He threw
very
her-
like.
He got
old-
mad at it and just threw her through a wall and just walked away. I mean,
If you look at what he's done strength-wise, everybody gives Superman the cardboard world speech. And everybody thinks of Superman in the cardboard world. I have to be so gentle. Look at what freaking Spidey does every dang day.
Yeah.
And he gets no appreciation for it.
Dude,
And I
like,
hate it
there's
because
this-
it's a
there's this
writing
Deadpool-
opportunity.
Yeah, there's this Deadpool Daredevil special from 1997 when they're both fighting Typhoid Mary, and like she's trying to let Deadpool know he's not a hero. When
Right.
Deadpool loses it, that was some scary shit.
Oh, yeah.
right there. And that's the thing. Like those are that might not be like it was like 48 pages, so I don't know if it counts like a self-contained story, but from the beginning to end, it's just like start and story end, and then ready for new adventures. Like that's something that's lost today.
Yeah.
So we're working on the Out of Obscurity anthology, which we will be launching soon.
Awesome.
And in that, we are doing a number of stories, all self-contained, all 4 to 8 pages. A couple of them are a little bit longer, but they're all contained stories. They have a beginning, a middle, and an end. They say something, they have a point, and they leave you wanting a whole lot more. And the challenge to all the writers on doing that was you got to cut out all of the fluff. It is nothing, no fat, all lean. It has to have everything in there that is needed to tell the story, and only that. You can't spin off a second arc. You can't leave a loose thread in there. It is only one thread. I remember Justin writing his arc. I mean, he's thinking like long-term stuff, right? And I said, dude, you've got 2 stories you're telling here. You need to pick one. Which one is it that you want to tell? Because you only have time in 6 pages to tell one of these stories. And it was a challenge for him as a writer, but he became a better writer through it. I love giving myself those challenges. When I write an arc, I'll write as I plan it out. It's got a beginning, a middle, and an end, and then I'll figure out where my issues are going to be, and then that story has a beginning, middle, and end, and then I break that down into scenes, and those scenes have beginning, middles, and ends. So it's like just a bunch of, and everyone's like, "Wow, that seems brilliant." And it's not
all
brilliant.
Over the place. You just do little arcs.
Yeah.
It's called writing, folks.
And it makes it more fun. I mean, it makes the whole
Never does.
experience of even writing the comic. It makes it more engaging for me as a writer to really want to know more about my own characters, which sounds really meta and really strange, but that's just how at least my writing process works.
And you're just telling little stories, that can contribute to the bigger thing. And I've had some people, and I don't think of myself, as being some writing genius or some artistic genius, because I'm not. but I've had people that have given me a lot of high praise. Bunny being one of them. That wow, you know, and I'm like, look, it's not. This was high school creative writing. That I learned these skills from my high school English teacher. This is what she told me. It's what she taught me. Her Mackerel, I'll never forget it. Her last name was Mackerel, like the fish, Mrs. Mackerel, and those skills have worked all the way through to now. And people are like, wow, this is some good comic book writing. It's 8th grade English, guys. Which proves to me
from a teacher that gave a rat's ass about education.
A teacher that gave about a poor kid that wasn't doing well in English because he had ADHD.
Yeah, exactly.
She saw that I had comic books, and she told me, and she actually used my comic books to show me where the 3-act arcs are in every book.
Oh, dude, that's awesome.
She taught me by using the comic books. Okay. She knew I liked music, so she taught me poetry by breaking down song lyrics. Like, the reason why I'm as creative as I am writing today is because of Mrs. Mackerel, my 8th grade English teacher. And I'm telling you, yeah, that sounds fishy.
I could never see my English teacher like dissecting Angel of Death for me by Slayer.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I mean, I had so much fun that year.
Yeah.
And I never missed like a normal class as much as I missed that one when I left it. But all of the stuff that I have today are skills that she taught me. And that's how I know a lot of these writers in comic books, they seem educated, but they don't know crap. Because
they don't know shit.
Educated.
Educated.
Yeah. Yep. So the comic industry has seen its genre whittled away.
Thank you!
Nick, you've been talking about this. You're crying out loud. Finally catching up. They're finally catching up to you, Nick.
Dude,
superheroes. That's what we got, man.
Can we have something other than the capes and tights crowd, please? I'm sorry. You can even have superhero adjacent, like the old school Top Cow line. None of them really felt like superheroes. I loved it. Yeah, there were powers and weirdness, but most of the time it felt like a pulp adventure series that happened to have superpowers of one sort or another.
I love the swords and sorcery stuff, man.
Swords and sorcery. I want to see some more westerns.
Really?
You know, some good westerns, some weird west. I can be greedy for it.
Did I tell you about the space western I'm writing? Did I tell you about the space western I'm writing? It's to honor my son's cat. So, my son's cat that passed away recently. I mean, the kid loved this cat, and he was an old cat. But we got him, and he was a ratter. We had a rat infestation because we lived right outside, right behind this retention pond. And there was, right there in Jack's. And this thing eliminated the rats. I mean, we didn't feed him for months. And he was walking around fat. And so as I was thinking, I was like, man, this would be great. Raven was such a good rat and cat. What if, I could just see this Western about this cat getting rid of these rats that are infesting this little town. But then I thought, you know what? That's just too boring. What if it was a space Western? What if it was a space cowboy cat that was killing rats in this sector of the galaxy that were causing a lot of trouble to the people on this planet? So that's her writing. Yeah, it's anthropomorphic.
No, I'm not bashing. Do not think I'm bashing, because I love anthro art. I always have. You know, it's possible to love anthro art without wanting to wear a mascot suit. You know.
Yeah, and
and
hump your neighbor.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
no, I'm here for it. See, Luke, I get on the show, right? And my buddy Luke, how you doing? What are you up to? Oh, nothing. And then we get on the show. All week we talk, and what are you up to? Gets on the show. He's like, oh yeah, I'm doing a graphic novel for a film guy, and and I'm doing a space western. Why did you not tell me these things earlier in the week?
I don't know. I didn't think you'd like it. It's not that interesting.
So, you know what, guys? You know during the Western era.
Look at my wallet, cool.
Yeah.
Do you not see Wash next to like the freaking lo-fi girl and a whole bunch of pops and freaking Domo Kun? Yes, I like that. Yeah.
And you're gonna love Raven.
Dude, the things that I don't know if you guys are aware, but
Ross, when we're done with what we're working on, we'll go to another project. I got a couple ideas.
Well,
you know what?
Also,
but guys, check this out. Check this out.
Wait, Ross?
One big project at a time.
Guys, we're all talking on top of each other.
Yeah, we are.
We're so excited.
Sometimes
there's a Western anthology going on, and they're starting to do. I expect Westerns to pop back up because whenever people get burnt out on the real world, we tend to go back to what the Western ideal of the good guys and the bad guys, and the bad guys make a satisfying thump when they hit the ground.
Mm-hmm.
You guys, you need to reach out to Brian K. Morris because a whole bunch of anthologies for Western stuff are coming out, and I bet there's some great stories and titles that are being born like right now.
But guys, check this out. During your Western era, there was a lot of like revolutions in Latin America.
Oh yeah,
and there's a known fact that cowboys were hired to fight down here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's how you have like the San Patricio brigade in Mexico. They were all Irish. You have Rand Ronalds, he was like a Texas Ranger that got hired to secure the Panama Canal Railroad. That guy hanged 172 people in the span of a year. So
I can't draw a hand.
Why doesn't he have an anti-hero Punisher vibe?
Yeah, no, the thing is like Rand Ronalds was not the bad guy. The thing is like there was this Spanish road called Camino de Cruces. So when they were building the railroad, not only the citizens were killing people, there was a band of international robbers who were like basically robbing everybody who was coming from New York to California to the gold rush. So the shipyard company hired this Texas Ranger, Rand Ronalds, and he came down here. He's like, okay, I'm gonna start killing first, and then question the families, and that's how he did it. And yeah,
that sounds like a cowboy.
Cops, yeah.
I am absolutely here for that story. A pixel trader being worried about AI. If AI could draw a horse, we're gonna lose the war. That's why everybody goes to space cowboys because it's easier to draw spaceships and like hover bikes than it is horses. See,
give me 1 second, guys. Go. Keep talking.
No, we're gonna have a space horse in the Raven story.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a horse, but it's like an alien-looking horse.
Cool.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yep.
No, yeah,
just start practicing
all kinds
now.
of fun stuff, man.
But
all kinds of fun stuff.
We haven't really
lazy,
even scratched the surface. We haven't even scratched the surface of what's out there. But I mean, it's only recently Bass Reeves got a comic book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
people still don't know who that dude is. And
that's
he's
a great book.
The baddest ass people that's ever walked in the West.
They will in the next year or so. Don't know who.
Yeah.
Well,
guys, if you want to
go back up, go back up, Luke. Go back up.
Guys, if you want to learn how to draw horses, this ugly book will help you. Okay.
How to draw animals.
How to Draw Animals by Jack Ham.
Mm-hmm.
Jack Ham knew how to draw animals.
This is a really good starting point, but the problem I see mostly is that you really learn to draw a horse when you have to animate it. This book by Edward Muybridge, Animals in Motion, will give you the base to basically dominate any animal in motion, and that's how you learn. So this two books in tandem, I mean, they're beat up because I use them a lot, but these two books will get you sorted, man.
Those Jack Ham books were done half a century ago.
Yes, sir.
And they're still evergreen. He does a
Horses haven't
cartooning book
changed
that
how
is
they
amazing.
look. In 50 years. I'm sorry, this whole thing of
he did a
people
cartooning book that's phenomenal.
Why?
It's absolutely great.
Mm-hmm.
The thing I want to point out about this section, the comic industry has seen its genres whittled away. This is an example of the mind think that CBR has because they completely ignore the crowdfunding market.
Yeah,
because there's westerns out there, there's sword and sorceries out there, there's all sorts of different genres out there. They just refuse to see them. And the other point is the reason the genres have been whittled away in so-called mainstream comics is because that's all these talentless individuals up there want to do, is do what they perceive as the Long John superhero, because they hate toxic masculinity so much. They want to insert themselves into these characters and tear these icons down from the ground floor up. That's why you have the stuff happening to Captain America. That's why you have all of the stuff happening to the X-Men, these great, phenomenal properties that are now totally decimated and practically unreadable in the industry.
Yep, absolutely.
Hell yeah.
That's
somebody
why,
take up an offering.
And you've seen all of these side genres like that Marvel had that they're losing. The only reason they still have Star Wars is because Disney owns them. The Howard estate has come in and pulled all of the Conan properties away from Marvel because they can't write them the way that they're supposed to be written. Because the self-insert idea, the stuff, and the crap that they're pulling now at these main Marvel and DC companies, they're not even mainstream anymore. That is just totally unforgivable and so anti what the whole point of these genres are meant for. Superheroes too. They can't write superheroes. They just write themselves in it and then try to make as much of a negative out of that character as they possibly can. That's all that they're out to do.
Terrible.
Yeah, but you find all of these genres. You find people who care about the genres and that want to write great stories in crowdfunding now. That's where you're going to find.
But Bunny finally found his bell. There you go. No, and that's why there's the migration from the from what is perceived as mainstream comics into crowdfunded comics.
That's why you've seen the Hasbro license disappear from IDW as well, because they're not writing those properties; they're writing themselves into those properties, and it's insulting.
Yeah.
No, well, I just saw an image on Twitter that showed.
That's a good one, Pixel.
Yeah.
Mindy,
they want to do Transformers.
The girl who did I'm Not Starfire. And
Prime examples.
You know, it's just write a good story. Don't worry about if the story's good. It will affect.
Yeah.
I don't like to talk about people's appearances, and I'm really not. But that writer looks angry all the time. Like every picture taken of her, she's like,
She's got a
It's
sneer.
because she is.
She's got a freaking sneer. This arrogant quirk of the lips. They all have it. It's like this little arrogant sneer. You see it on Heather on Host.
They say by the
Kelly Sue DeConnick. It's all on their. They all have the same damn look on their face, and it's
smugness.
Like,
it's smugness
smug.
because they know that they're pulling stuff. Yeah,
and they know they're destroying something that can't be replaced.
Oh, I won't say that. I won't say it can't be replaced. Nope, because I refuse to surrender on certain things.
Yeah,
it's
well,
like you
that's
can
true,
keep saying this is junk, and what people will do is they'll go back. I really think if when it comes time when like Marvel decides, hey, maybe we want to make money, when everybody. When they've hemorrhaged out to the independent creators, just like what happened with the games, they're going to go, well, shoot, we're going to have to do the one thing we didn't want to do, write a better book. And that's what it's going to come down to. They just got to, the only way to keep
They actually need to learn to write instead of do self-inserts. That's the big thing.
As long as
they're just
Sama
doing
Amanat
fanfic and shipping
is anywhere
right
in
now.
this industry, it's dead. As long as Sama Amanat's anywhere in that industry, it is effectively dead.
I hate to break this to you, T-Bunny. Sana Amanat's no longer at Marvel. She's working at on television. She's been gone since December. Since last December. Nobody's wanted to say anything.
she's never gone. She's
No,
never gone.
no,
Her
because
influence is everywhere, man.
she's
still in our
part
heart.
of the she's like the beginning of the onslaught. It's not really. I mean, she's part of it. Yes, she's a major part of it, but she's gone now. She's moved on because she considers comics to be beneath her now. She's done.
Yeah.
She's done her destruction.
The
Now
locust
she's
has
moving on
moved
to
on.
television. That's what's happening.
Destroy it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know she controls it through Victoria Alonso. So.
Well,
I
she's
know
part
that
of the
much.
problem as well. Yes.
Oh yeah.
You know what? I'll run into that. That's mainstream crud. That's like what's going on a given award show. Very rarely do I care.
Right.
Well, no, and see, my thing is they can let it burn, and they will let it burn all the way down to the ground.
Well,
and then when it has no perceived value, yes.
The thing that we have to the thing that we have to admit is that we've lost what they used to consider the mainstream isn't the mainstream anymore. It needs to be redefined. It's Marvel and DC. It's corporate, and it's a corporate mess. The real mainstream right now is obviously manga and Scholastic.
Yeah,
that's the mainstream because that's the comics that are reaching out to the wider audience. We have to figure out as alternatives how to get our books out there as well, on top of Marvel and DC, or over top of Marvel and DC.
You're right. It's corporate comics versus
that's the whole thing that we
create our
need to
own
do.
comics.
Yep.
Well, I'm going to go further and say it's focus group. I really believe the greatest flaw currently in modern media is the focus group tendency. You know?
Yeah. Produced by committee. I mean.
Yeah. It's production by committee, and we're gonna throw it to a focus group and see what they have to say.
Nothing
and
really
they
good comes
use,
out of committees.
Slanted statistics. They're very their target audience. When you hear target audience, you know something's wrong.
Yeah,
right.
It should be anybody should go, hey, this is a cool book, and find something that they love.
Okay.
If not,
yeah. I agree.
It's just gotten to a point now where we have to let those characters go. We have to understand those icons are dead and make better icons and do our own IPs and get them out to as wide an audience as possible. That's the whole key here.
I agree.
Yeah.
Dude, okay, so coming from the advertising world, like when I was doing Tropical Magic, I had some friends that looked at it, but they came with the marketing approach to it. It's like, okay, so the appeal of the characters, don't you think you should make, like, I just threw the phone. I was like, no, I don't want to listen to you. I want to make something fun. And that's the thing, like, those big corporations, they're trying to make something fun with guys from marketing, human resources. Everybody's putting their spoon in. It's like, you know what you should do? Yeah, I should close the door on your face because what you do is not fun. You're into numbers and statistics and whatever. Go do that.
I watched last night. They did a crossover of, and it must have just hit Prime, of Cat's Eye and Lupin the Third.
Yep.
And it's the 40th anniversary of Cat's Eye as an anime and manga series. Lupin's been around forever.
Yeah.
These are ancient titles. But in Japan, they respect usually the source material much more when they take it and they go to animation and they go to movies and stuff than we do in the West. I mean, they absolutely do not support, they don't respect the source material when they take it. We're going to do a movie about Dracula. Cool. Here's Bram Stoker's Dracula, world famous novel. Yeah, but we're not going to use any of this in it, and we're going to add this, and we're going to do this, and sometimes if you just read the book and you stay pretty straight to the source matter, it's still pretty darn good. It's not that complicated.
Well, that's been going on since the start of Crossing Entertainment, because you go back and you look at the original, the Edgar Rice Burroughs Tarzan, and the Tarzan that's in the movies. It's night and day, literally.
Yeah.
The only similarities is that there's a guy in the jungle.
Yeah,
you know?
right.
But the written books, the books that came first, the books that really made the property popular enough for Hollywood to want to do movies on it, it's completely different from the torn down, stripped apart Johnny Weissmuller that you see in the movies.
There was a couple of manga books that were made into anime.
Yeah.
That the anime did not follow the source material, but they failed.
Yeah.
Terribly. And so for the most part, they keep it going. Especially look at One Piece. I mean, One Piece is the perfect example. They follow the books to the T. There's no changes in that at all. Let's go to number 7. Number 7 says the shrinkage of ongoing books leaves little to invest in. What this is talking about is the number of, because they have so many Batman titles or Spider-Man titles, you no longer have a Howard the Duck or these other things. Yeah, Red Sonja. It's those other titles, those Animal Mans and things like that. It's all it's all dwindled down to where you really have multiple versions of the same character being written at the same time, and it doesn't give. And when we're saying invest, this isn't talking about investing in dollars. It's investing in your time.
Yeah.
Which is money.
And again, this is an example of this writer's inability to understand what the market is all about. You go back and you look, for example, The Punisher. When The Punisher was first introduced in Amazing Spider-Man 129, he sat for years before they decided to put him in a black and white magazine and spin him off on his own book. Wolverine is the same example. Popped up in Hulk, disappeared for a few years before they decided to use him in Giant Size X-Men, was in X-Men for a few years before they even thought about giving him his own title. This stuff all takes time, and these companies don't want to invest in these characters because they want the next copy, the next spoke in the wheel. They want the next imitation of Spider-Man, the next imitation of Batman to run off of, instead of original ideas like Howard up there.
Yeah. Well, but that's the thing. Like in a corporate environment, writers and artists don't have a say on what they're doing. They're told.
Let me tell you a story about it.
If you go back on the history of Howard, Howard is a solid accident. And if Howard if Gerber hadn't accidentally created Howard and caught a lot of fans' attention, there would have never been Howard the Duck #1. There would have never been all of these other attempts to get Howard out there. That's more of a tribute to the writing ability of Steve Gerber, that character has the longevity that it has even today. If Gerber had never been the writer that he was, Howard would never have been the character or the icon that he became.
Well, there's this guy. I had him on last Friday, and he was in my chat on Monday, and then I had him on Friday during the Buy One Back One update show, and his name he goes by Symphonic Verses Nocturne's Romance. Okay, well, it's a mouthful, right? Yeah. Well, this guy, he'd been turned down by every major comic book company. I mean, multiple times, and but he just kept plugging away, going to cons and putting his name out there, and somehow his IP made it to the hands of a movie studio who was looking for IPs, but not from comic book companies. Because obviously what they're producing is not working in the market, and so they called this guy directly, and he said he asked them several times, it's like, oh well, are you? He's like, I'm not quite believing this, and the guy's like, well, I'm here with my board of directors, and you got 15 minutes, pitch us. And so he pitched his project, and they picked it up, and it's going to be a cartoon that's coming out. He's got a toy line that he's released pictures of, and his comic book just sold out in a brick and mortar comic book store. And he said, in the time it took the guy to make the pitch for the comic to people that were at that store, it's sold out. And this is a guy completely independent, and he said that what's happening, and they're not advertising this, is these companies are going around the quote
Shopping.
mainstream comic book industry, and they're looking for these the independent voices. They understand that this bloated, misshapen thing that the comic book industry, the main quote mainstream comic book industry has become, is not where the next big thing's going to come from. And
I need to work on stop being a curmudgeon, man. Because if I get a phone call, somebody, you have 15 minutes to pitch. It's like, fuck off.
That's exactly what I would
have
say.
Have him on, guys. Have him on. He will go on any show to talk about this. But have him on.
Well, guys, here's the truth. No one wants what they don't want you to know. Yeah, well, yes, absolutely, Hojo, absolutely. Sorry, but there is an IP shortage.
Yep.
There is, because everybody is so. All the big names are so behind layers of corporate and layers of lawyers and layers of stuff. You can't. Disney has been trying. Disney wants to monopolize intellectual property. At the end of the day, that's what Disney wants. That's why they buy up the big
Whatever
titles.
Disney wants,
They
Disney
want
gets.
everything to come, and they're having trouble. I just read a fascinating article on some of the shenanigans that might be pulled with Star Wars, and it makes me want to cry tears of blood. But the other companies are like, wait a second. If we want to compete, we need to go direct. And that's what's going to happen. There is a movie coming out. I am genuinely excited. I won't see it in theater because of my situation. But there's a movie coming out I am excited to see come out. It's called Cocaine Bear.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. I want, they're like, this
fun.
is an Oscar nominated. Get out of here with your Oscar nominated. It hasn't even aired, and you're like, it's a contender. Give me Cocaine Bear. I want to sit and watch, based on the true story of a bear who got coked up, rampaging. I will eat popcorn.
Killing everybody.
I will watch that. And that's how I like my entertainment.
He likes cocaine. Throw cocaine at him.
If I want educational, I'll watch PBS. I'll have Shakespeare or British content that's deeply well written.
Yeah.
If
I prefer my British content to be entirely stupid, like Monty Python.
No, you know what? No, Monty Python is not stupid. It's incredibly smart. It's just incredibly irreverent. That's the trick. It is not dumb.
Yeah. Some watery tart lobs a scimitar at me? You're saying I could be the supreme ruler? Oh, man, I love that movie. Yes. So,
Hasbro really, due to the bad man.
Well, Hasbro is making the same mistakes across all the things they control right now.
Yeah, Hasbro kind of sucks,
same group of people trying to pull the same. We need to turn it because it's the same lady. She came and a bunch of other people from Microsoft and 343, and they basically ruined Halo by trying to make it a big micro investment. See, we get them addicted to microtransactions, and they go, "Oh, that didn't work." So now we're going to go over to our RPGs, D&D. We'll make it micro investment.
Don't you feel like Microsoft is like Hades University? Like they training people to be evil. It's just like, dude, every idea out of those guys. It's just like, how can we squeeze people some more? It's like, dude, stop.
They're constantly milking.
Yeah.
They're trying to milk the cash cow to death.
Yeah. And the problem is they're doing that at a time that eggs are like $7. You can't. When your customers are suffering,
I gotta read this one, guys. I knew a bear who liked to get coked up and rampage at gay bars. Is it like that? Because I don't know. I don't know if I want to go see. I don't know if I want to see that in depth. No, it's not like that.
You know what just happened? Asylum just saw that. And they're going to watch Cocaine Bear, and they're going to go, we could double down on this.
Yes,
and
we can.
That wouldn't even surprise me. And I love what Asylum Pictures do. Like
I can see
Mecha
that happening.
Croc and giant octopus. Just throw
It's
that.
we have our own version of Cocaine Bear. It's about a very burly gay man.
Nice. Yeah. Oh my god. The soundtrack's gonna be better.
The soundtrack would be better.
Yeah.
Oh my!
The fashion would be great. I love flannel. Do it, man.
Well, it all takes place at the Blue Oyster Bar.
I love it. The multiverse. The multiverse is fun, but there can be too much of a good thing.
You know that song is ruined because that song was made by like a legendary Brazilian musician, but whenever you hear that, it's like a Blue Oyster. Sorry.
Yeah, I love that movie. So so number 6, the multiverse is fun, but there can be too much of a good thing. I mean, you can't get much more right on than this one.
Just make a universe, stay in your freaking universe, and have consequences for your actions, you coward.
If you read comics before Crisis, pre-Crisis comics from DC, DC back then was smart enough to only do a crossover once a year.
Yeah.
Maybe twice in an individual title, because they knew it was too much of a good thing. But those old Justice Society, Justice League crossovers were cherry. Just amazing stories. Just fun, phenomenal works. And every time a new writer came on, they always seemed to have a different theory about the multiverse, about how time moved, about how the entire theme of heroism worked. It was really fascinating to sit and watch, because you never knew from year to year what kind of a universe that you were going to be stepping into when they crossed. And also, DC knew, or felt wrongly, I think, that it was getting too confusing, which is why they had Crisis in the first place and pared everything down to one timeline. Because they had so many IPs back then. They didn't have 50 versions of Batman. They had so many IPs back then that they had to narrow it down to one solid timeline. And that created a whole new mess.
I think some of the problem, and this may be a hot take, but I think some of these superheroes, they kind of these writers run out of runway with them. And so, like, Batman should have kind of like run his course for a while, and then they sunset him for a while, and then just have a big comeback story with another writer who wants to take off with it. And I think as soon as you start breaking it up into all these different little micro universes and they start clashing with each other, I mean, it's really hard to keep up. And then not to mention, as we stated before, with having these like little story arcs that kind of like drag the story out in that certain universe to try to keep the readers along, at least for those 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 issues. And then all of a sudden, boom, they go right into something else. And it's like, wait a minute. What happened over here? Because it doesn't jibe with what I'm seeing here. So nothing matters. So either everything matters or nothing does.
Yes.
Yeah. Please let Peter and MJ be happy.
You know what? This might shock. You want to talk representation? How about some married couples who are happy in comics anywhere that don't constantly cheat?
Yeah, that would be a radical deviation from the norm in comics, wouldn't it?
No. Yeah, I mean, like,
and soap operas.
I am rage-filled and sickened by can you just let a happy... Well, and you know what they cite most of the time? They try to cite the Fantastic Four, which is one of the worst, marriages, because Reed Richards is a douchebag.
And so is it the Fish.
Well, he's written as a douchebag now, but he wasn't back when he
wasn't back then.
Out.
No, not back then.
They don't like him now because he's an educated, intelligent white guy. But that's another story.
They have to vilify him in some way.
They have to he has to be flawed.
Yeah, they have to bring a flaw. Yeah. Okay, it's time to admit the superhero families are too big.
Yep.
They are too big. You know why they're too big? Because there's no creativity. Instead of creating a brand new character with a brand new identity and a brand new power set, they just make another Spider Person.
Well, there's also
make another super person.
There's also 2 important reasons that these companies want this to happen. They want all of these different versions. For one, they don't want to give the creativity over to the main creative people who originated the character in the first place. And for two, it's so much easier to excuse royalty payments to other creators who come through and do derivatives of these heroes, because they lean back. It's kind of a double standard for them.
Yeah.
Well, so and so actually created this character originally. You just did a deviation. You don't get any royalties. And where they're at the same time, they're chasing off any type of copyright hassles from those original creators, because they have all these different versions of the same character. They could just next year they could decide that if the Lee estate and Ditko's estate decide that they want a chunk of Spider-Man, suddenly Peter Parker's gone and Miles Morales is the main Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Well, we don't owe you guys nothing because you didn't create Miles Morales.
Well, and you know what? When it's written
Glenn?
right, it's
Yeah.
time for some
That's
freaking
exactly right,
mantles
Glenn.
to pass.
Yeah.
You know, we had an opportunity with Batman, with the Batman Beyond spin-off thing. That was how you do it. I love Bruce Wayne. We all love Bruce Wayne, but the dude's been around long enough that they have to retcon the entire universe to justify his life.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have, you have like the Bat family now. Like,
Yeah.
I am the rugged loner. Rugged loner, my butt. You got 15 kids, 2 spin-offs, an alt version running around, 3 wives. There's no room on Gotham rooftops. There is a Bat family member on every
rooftop. Crime should be eradicated.
Yeah, the Bat
There should be zero crime in Gotham with as many Bat family members.
They're
there are.
Bat Force. It's Bat Force.
Yeah. Gotham has a Bat problem now.
Yeah.
It's like
So now you need Deathstroke to go around and kill
The
him.
Battle for the Cow had like 4 different people vying for it.
Yeah,
And I
dude.
played
And that was back before it went nuts.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's like that point was being made. Manga.
Yeah.
One of the reasons why people like manga is the characters age out, or they pass away, and they move it on to a next generation, and they just rename the book. With put a text on the end that lets you know that this is a new generation.
And if you wanted to read about Bruce Wayne again, you just go back and reread the old books about Bruce Wayne.
And it's a perfect
You don't have
arc,
to have a new
and
one.
you know how it begins, you know how it ends, and it's a perfect arc, and it's
Precisely.
It's a
perfection.
closed loop.
100%.
Yeah, there's no
You
need
wanna-
to do what they're doing.
You want to read some great books like that, go back and dig up the old Warren Erie series, because Erie used to have characters that would continue for multiple issues, and then boom, they would die.
Nice.
Okay,
You'd be reading their story, and
Batman.
suddenly their story was done, and that was it.
I
That's all
got
you ever
guys.
saw that
You gotta
character.
stop for a second.
Great
Because when Comic Book Black Belt said, "Don't forget about Batwang," my eyes crossed
How cool
a
we?
few times, and I saw "Don't forget about Wang Wang." And I don't know if you guys know who Wang Wang is. He was this little dude in like the 70s. He was like, if you know, you know. He beat the crap out of bad guys, but he was like a little tiny, midget, small person, whatever. And he'd always get the girl. And then I saw Bat Wang Wang in my mind, and I'm like, stop. Okay, we can add that to the Bat family. I am here for Bat Wang Wang. And if you know who I'm talking about, Marv knows. I see that grin.
Yeah.
Marv knows who I'm talking about.
Okay. So in that vein, I want to just step in real quick. If they can, like Spider-Ham, I like the concept of doing this alternate, universe that is a completely, cartoony kind of thing, and some really cool, derivatives in that direction. Something that's more akin to parody or comedy. But yeah, I think keeping it so close to quote unquote reality, or having it so grounded in the same feeling universe is just
The same universe.
you're gonna you're just gonna lose the magic that is comic books.
Look, those things were great when they were a what if book.
Yeah.
Or
Elseworlds, yeah. Elseworlds were
Elseworlds.
amazing. Yeah.
But when they became canon,
Yep.
that, oh, this is really going on and this really exists. And they wound up giving these stories long, drawn-out arcs that we were talking about earlier and not one-offs. It started becoming an issue. But again, it was because they wanted to appeal to a larger market to make more Spider money.
Yeah.
That's what they want. They want more Bat money. So what they do is they find a category of person using identity politics, and they go, and here's your character, and here's one for you, and here's one for you. Give me your money. That's what they want.
Wheelie Spider-Man, yeah.
I gotta talk about this because you say that, and I saw something go through again, like I think my Twitter feed. It was, identity. But look, that's me in the comics. And then, and I hate to say this, but just about every black kid I knew growing up was like, I'm Goku. You don't know it, but I'm freaking Goku. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nobody cared. Everybody's like, what? We need to be where you can identify with people regardless. I don't understand why it has to be one-to-one.
You know how I learned about apartheid? I learned about apartheid because there was an arc in Black Panther.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's how I learned about apartheid.
Politics.
Yep.
And I didn't know about the Troubles until Spider-Man goes over to Ireland and has to stop an IRA plot. I didn't know about the Troubles until I read that. And so what they've forgotten is they just assume that you don't know how to view the world, and that you don't know what's right or what's wrong, and so they tell you what's right and wrong instead of telling you what's wrong in the world, what's obviously wrong in the world, and letting you draw your conclusions out of your own humanity, because they just assume that you don't have enough humanity to understand what is right and wrong in the world.
There you go. You said a key word: humanity. Okay, humanity. They want us to strip down and turn into service bots and become part of the Borg collective. And I for one am not going to stand for it. And I know it seems kind of ironic that I'm bringing about a cybernetic werewolf to make it happen. But let me tell you something. He's got more heart than any of those jack legs.
Right.
100%.
Number 4, there's no good reason any comic should have dozens, not a dozen, dozens of variant covers. And this is true. We've been talking about this for ages.
No, just keep scrolling. I'm still serious. Everybody agrees this is money grab.
Unfortunately,
again,
unfortunately, again, the CBR person writing this article does not understand the market.
Stupid.
Because, quite honestly and frankly, variant covers are the only thing in comics, not in Funko Pops,
Who wrote
or not
this?
in gaming.
Rumpelstiltskin?
Yeah, pretty much. That's actually keeping the retailers buying comic products.
Well, yeah. What they've done is they've essentially taken the comic book and turned it into a trading card. This this large trading card that has nothing but crap inside. But hey, let's look at this Boba Fett versus Han Solo homage cover to Spider-Man 129. Let's just let's do that here. And we got this nice little cartoony thing over here on the right.
Let's get a nice chibi cover on there.
What is that like? What is that? Scott Pilgrim versus the World or something that they're trying to do? It's ridiculous.
What's his name? Moore? No, not Moore. I don't remember the guy's name, but he's done a whole slew of those kind of covers. But the thing is, if you go back a couple of issues in Glenn Fleming's Comics Unlimited magazine, I point out that the very first set of variant covers was started by Arrow Comics. And it was a necessity back then because we had too many retailers complaining about the violent content on the covers of Dead World.
Yes.
After number 2, because Dead World's the number 2 cover for Dead World has a zombie on it, where his entire innards are eviscerated and spilling out. And Vince Locke is amazing, an amazing artist, and he still does, because of his work on Dead World, he still does the covers for the band Cannibal Corpse to this day.
Nice.
But we started a variant cover option on purpose for retailers so that they didn't get the gore cover. We had a gory cover and a tame cover. And the tame cover was a beautiful esoteric piece of art, like an apple or a skull or something that wasn't offensive. And then we also offered a gory cover that had blood and guts and stuff flying all. That's what helped make Dead World the big popular book it was back in the middle 80s. And
I don't think variant covers are bad. I think that all of these variant covers are unnecessary. I think a couple are necessary.
They've taken these comic companies take the idea and have completely screwed with it in order to try to up the sales on their books.
Yep.
Speculators market.
Speculator market. Yep.
There is a trend that needs to be, because it's the same thing. When you love comics, you can see one or two variant covers make sense sometimes. You know, because a lot of times there'll be a spicy cover and the less spicy cover.
Yeah.
You know, for certain things. But you look at variant covers, you look at crossovers, you look at multiverses. These are all things that, like a fine spice, when added, enrich the whole thing. But you have people who are not creators, they are business minded. And the people who are business minded work in a world where, like, physics doesn't exist. So you can always make more money. You should always be more profitable.
They've taken
that the system can't hold that way. So they take, if one variant cover is good, we better have 30. And if people come for a crossover, we better make a crossover every other week.
They've literally taken these devices and turned them into cheap gimmicks, is what they've done in order to artificially stump their sales.
They're like little children. Like you open up the piñata, and they're all just grabbing all the candy, just going nuts and rabid because I want more, I want more, I want more. And
it's like hair metal in the 80s.
As coming from the region that invented the piñata, the solution is the kid who goes crazy for the candy the piñata gets beaten. So we need to beat kids again. Oh, sorry.
Okay, it's like hair metal in the 80s. Okay, now Quiet Riot breaks through. Okay, from the LA scene. All right, and, with "Come On, Feel the Noise," which is like
come on, feel the noise.
Right, exactly. And so they break into the mainstream and they actually have a top 10 hit and in their album charts. Okay. And then suddenly, this group in L.A., this is like a little microcosm in L.A. of all these bands that were like starving to death and living off of groupies, and not the main, the record industry wouldn't even spit on if they were on fire. And suddenly, everybody's getting signed off the street if they look remotely like a rock star. And then suddenly, the market gets flooded with the exact same. This one little area. All these groups that sounded alike because they were playing up against each other all the time, and so they had to have the guitar solo, they had to have the high screeching guy, and they had to have the hair, halfway to Jesus.
Oh, the hair,
yeah, and so
you know what? There's only one group of people that has bigger hair than those guys, and that is the apostolic women in the church I grew up in.
Oh yeah, there you go. Gotta have hair.
Go look at the Grand Old Opry in like Dolly's peak days and come back.
Yeah, but what they said though, what happens though?
But she had hair.
Yeah.
Like,
what
happens
still
is market saturation. It's
Dolly's
market
still in her
saturation.
peak days. Just want to say.
Yeah, and that's what's going on.
And eventually there was a backlash, and in comes grunge, god awful grunge, okay, but it was different.
Hey,
and so
Bunny.
Suddenly they went to Seattle and brought all the grunge in.
Bunny, suck it.
I'm an Alice in Chains fan from way back. Okay.
Yeah.
I love
Bring
grunge.
out the flannel shirts.
But you have to admit it was bleak.
I love grunge.
It was bleak as shit, though. You have to admit
But so were the 90s.
So damn bleak.
Yeah,
so were the 90s,
Gen Z,
my
baby.
friend.
Gen Z. Or Gen X, baby. Gen X.
Yeah.
There you go.
Gen X, yeah.
Gen Z. But Buddy's coming out as a Zoomer, folks. Right
Dude, but
now.
it was not okay. It was not as bad as the emo where they had the hair down over one. The world is so dark. I can only stand looking at it with one eye.
Right,
Dude.
there you go.
You know, kind of.
But I love the
But
mentality.
emo came directly from grunge, though. It did.
It did,
so.
yeah.
They just
Dude,
didn't
nobody-
die. They just didn't all die of heroin overdoses.
Nobody
Yeah, it was when we were
gave
like,
me more
hey, that was
the
still too
urge-
much, guys.
Nobody gave me more the urge to kick their ass like an emo kid.
I know,
Like,
right?
you know, like, dude.
It's like, stop, yeah. I'm gonna just
Pedro is
stop.
an emo kid.
You
No.
goth.
No, dude.
Speaking of
Like,
goth, speaking of
black
goth
emo
in
kids-
Gotham City,
Black
fans
emo
miss a
kids
world.
to disappear.
Nice
Number
try.
Number 3, I see that said. Speaking of goth in Gotham City, fans miss a world that wasn't quite so Batman centric.
I think we've been talking about this one the whole freaking time.
I think we
Just
have.
got on, so I think we can blow past. Can we just
Yeah,
blow
let's
past?
blow right past that because it has all been there. Number 2, deconstruction stories have
Keep
long
going,
outstayed
I don't
their
even
welcome.
Get out of
Hey,
here.
we've been talking about this for about every episode. This is what, episode 52.
Yes.
For the last 52 weeks or more, we have been talking about this, about how deconstruction has done nothing for comic books
Oh.
except make it worse.
Well,
It's okay every once in a while, but how's about a reconstruction story?
It's helped writers make 6 times more money than what they would off of doing a regular script.
Well, those guys can suck it too.
Yeah.
It's
Make a line. The suckage.
make a line for suckage.
Yeah, it makes me mad. We've been talking about this. That's where my whole line: build up more than you tear down, leave the wood pile higher than you found it, and by all means, be careful.
Make a line for suckage. That's
Make
what
a
she
line.
said. That's what he said. That's what everybody said.
I have to say this though. When I first saw apostolic, I had a neighbor lady that was apostolic. I thought it was
Apostolic.
apostaholic.
It's apostolic.
Apostolic.
I know, but I always
It's
thought it
pronounced
was
apostolic.
I always thought it was apostaholic. So
Apostolic sounds like a lot of fun.
yeah.
Okay, that
Getting drunk for Jesus. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Nick, and I'm a pastaholic.
I'm a
It's
apostolic.
been 3 weeks since I had spaghetti, and
I grew up in a oneness
It's spoken
church.
tongues.
Yeah,
I
I
wish
grew-
I could stop drinking, but
Guys,
I love
I-
Jesus.
Guys, I grew up in that apostolic oneness church. Jesus only, man. I'm telling you, it was funny. They said the girls weren't allowed to wear pants. They could only wear skirts. But here's what they didn't realize: it was a lot easier to have sex and hide it when your girl can just throw her skirt down.
Yep. Oh yeah, we called that move the onion.
So when I was growing up, I was like, there's no way I'm letting my daughter wear skirts.
Yeah.
Like, she's gonna have to wear pants. They said pants will send her to hell. I said, not any faster than premarital sex will.
Yep.
Yeah, they didn't like me. They didn't like me very
no,
much.
you know what?
I've always
The
spoke my mind.
lesser of
I
two
have the horrible urge to say
and that's what you call
but
a
it's-
mic drop.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but yeah.
Patient zero right there.
All right, here we go. This is a good one. Number 1, too many comic events will turn away many readers. Man, Secret Wars was great.
Yeah.
But if every month there's another event, I love the omnibus that I've got with all of the Carnage storyline that spanned all these different books. But man, people don't have that kind of money.
Yeah, dude, that's horrible.
Right.
You don't have that kind of money. You don't have that kind of time.
Hmm.
And I'm
But again, what is it that they're doing? They're always after your money, and they're always trying to make it about more money, and they're searching for that thing that's going to be the. Remember the character Prophet from Image?
Yeah.
He had all these spin-off books, but they were all garbage. Sorry, I didn't like any of them. Because if it was so good, he'd have a movie right now.
yeah.
Right? They were trying to make him Batman. They were trying to make him Spider-Man. Rob was pushing and forcing for that character to be something that it never was.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're doing with all of this stuff.
Yeah, basically.
So look, my typo I pulled around to mean something. You're welcome.
Yeah.
You're welcome,
Yeah.
America.
Yeah. There you go. There you go.
You're welcome, world.
I asked him if he meant PROFIT, but he's like, no, I was typing on my phone, but yeah, he found a way to make it work.
I found a way.
Give him credit.
I found a way to make it work.
Dude, I hate that static cover, man. Like all those guys just standing there. They look at they're in the DMV, man. What's happening there? It's just
They are. It is so.
This is probably off title, but it always bugs me because, like, when Spider-Man's left to his own devices, he's like saving the bodega owner who's getting robbed and stuff.
Yeah.
And whenever all the superheroes are off doing, I want to see it. I want to see somebody do a title called "When the Cat's Away." That's the title, and what it is all the villains like. Yeah, did you hear? Galactus is doing something. So all the heroes have left to go do this shit again. It's party time! You know, and it ends up being like kids having a party, you know? There's like the one dude who's waiting. What? They beat him. Everybody get back to the hole. You know, and they all go back to the bar.
The story I'm looking forward to and out of obscurity is we got a retired superhero who's like, he's long in the tooth now, and he's just trying to get some groceries, and these guys holding up the grocery store. And he's just there at the end of the day trying to get his groceries. And I didn't get to see the script. That's the only script I didn't get to see, but I want to see that.
Dude,
what would happen like if you were trying to?
It is one of my favorite.
Like
it is one of my favorites.
Trying to rob like what's that?
It's called Super Guy.
It's called Super Guy. Right.
Hey, do you guys remember this whole story about Valencia?
Yes,
where they did the bondage stuff with the kids?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
Balenciaga.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
I have the room set up now to where my wife can come in and see me and not be on camera and say hi. So it's nice. I like the new office.
Hello, wife.
I just she's already gone, guys. So I just need to get some
that thing's
soundproofing.
huge, man. That is huge.
I like that whole like don't peek at my wife.
You upgraded.
I'm telling you, the house is an upgrade for sure.
Yeah, nice.
It's got 5 bedrooms, 2 living rooms, a dining room, a basement that is the same size as the floor plan, and it's got a
escape
it's
route.
Got an up, and it's got a
the inside of your well was
attic.
very well appointed.
Safe room. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You made it to Nineveh in style there, dude.
I did, really. Yeah, I did it. It's nice. So I know God wants me here to wait, so I'm going to come here and wait.
There you go.
See what happens. But yeah, check this out. So, this is probably not a good look. This is a rumor, okay? This is not, they're not saying this is happening, but there's several outlets that are rumoring this, okay? That Balenciaga is rumored to be collaborating with Disney. Balenciaga, they're saying that they're child predators.
Yep.
And they're grooming, right? Well, what have people been saying about Disney? That they're grooming. Disney in Florida was against the anti-grooming bill that the state put into place so that you couldn't teach kids under 5th grade anything about sex. Yeah, it's Stone Manor. We might have an option to buy the house too. So
nice.
Yeah, so we'll pray about that. This could be roots. Who knows? This house in Florida would sell for like $500,000. Here, I think it's $150,000-$200,000.
Oh, dude,
I mean, it's huge. I mean, windows. We got windows everywhere. There's stained glass windows downstairs and upstairs in some of the rooms.
Jeez, wow!
I'm telling you, it's crazy. Yeah, but anyway, so this would not look good for either company, right? Disney would not. I don't think they would want to work with Balenciaga, even if they do have the same agenda, because now Balenciaga is now they're directly marketing. It's all over TikTok. I heard about this from my daughter. My daughter told me this last night. And I said, well, you know what? Let's talk about this. I said, send me this. I'm going to talk about this on our bacon. Because this is some of the stuff that we discuss here. You know? We have to protect our kids. You know, Arrow Comics is making comic books for everybody. We have adult content. But we have kids content. But we keep that stuff separated. We don't want little kids finding Spanx. Once they get into high school, they can find Spanx and laugh their butts off.
Spank the monkey, that is, not the clothing.
Right, yeah. The Spank monkey. So we don't want little kids. We want them finding HeroBot Zero. That's what we want. We want them getting that. We want them finding things like Tales from the Aniverse. You know, we want them finding things that they can enjoy and become comic book fans with. I don't get, you know, where I don't get why teachers and why companies and corporations find it so important to talk about sex with little kids.
Yeah.
If you want to talk about sex with little kids, you are sick. I'm just going to say that.
Yeah,
okay?
I don't get the urge.
If you disagree with me, then you are sick. I have kids. I dreaded the day I had to talk about sex with my daughter and with my son. I didn't want to talk about sex with them. I was a youth pastor for years. I hated it when it came up time to say, you know what, we're going to have sex talks about religion and faith and how all that plays together.
I think the tragedy is there is a point where we do need to start talking about the threat of sexual predation earlier.
Right.
And I do believe that children need to know proper anatomical terms. And the reason for that is if somebody does something wrong and a little girl goes, you know, so-and-so touched my cupcake, people might not understand what she's actually referring to. And I've been around in cases where there's been sexual predation on children and they didn't realize what was going on.
But Nick, that's all good. But the thing is, like, why they want to keep the parents away from all that situation?
Yeah, that's conversations parents.
Yeah, that's
should be having with their kids, and they're trying to eliminate parents from this conversation.
But right now, that law wants to like, okay, you can tell me, but you don't need to tell your parents. You can tell me. It's like, dude, no, you have one hand on your member. Stop it. You know.
That is a very different thing.
Yeah, dude.
And I have seen why they try to do that. Because there are so many cases of abuse in the home. I don't agree with it, but I can see why they do that. Because you guys have to remember, I worked in academia. In like teaching in kids. I was a long-term substitute teacher for like 10 years. I was a teacher's aide. I've worked with special needs. I can see why it needs to be discussed, but it needs to be discussed openly. It needs to be discussed properly.
Right.
And the parents need to be informed of every step.
Look, I worked in youth ministry for a long time with kids in troubled situations, okay? And I will tell you, if you are a reasonable adult, you know how and when to have those conversations. And you also know what to keep your eyes open for, okay? You can tell if a kid is being abused at home. Indiana, for the majority of my time doing youth ministry, and even in Florida, they have a safe sanctuaries laws. Yes. And you have to follow those laws. One of the things is if you believe a child is being abused, you have to report it. And CPS has to get involved. I've done it too. I've done it more times than I ever wanted to do it. But the safety of children was always the most important thing to me. Now, having lived that in a real life scenario, when I see things like teachers wanting to talk about gender identity and sex education with a third grader, that's unnatural. If I saw a third grader come into our children's ministry that knew the things about sex that they're trying to teach the kids now, I would be like, they're being exposed to things that they shouldn't be. And we had one that could graphically tell you about oral sex.
Now, see, that is radically...
Guess what happened? I called CPS. And guess what else happened? That child had to be removed from that home.
It really is a fine line because the last time I looked, the average age of people losing their virginity was like 12 and 13.
Yeah, that's the average age right now.
So that means that's average, okay?
Yeah.
That is the middle of the statistical spread.
The middle.
So if you're talking to your kids at 15 or 14 at about that, 50% of them have already had sex. So it may be a case of it needs to be handled clinically.
We've oversexed our kids. We've sexualized kids. We've sexualized too much, and we've oversexed our kids.
Is prudish about the human body, but hypersexualized.
Yeah.
And both these are basically ridiculous.
Well, let me point out, Balenciaga has this brag thing that they're doing with this t-shirt campaign, where they add an extra A in, so it's Balenciaga.
Oh,
Balenciaga.
I think Bale.
Bale as in Bell, and the chief cornerstone of Bell worship. The chief cornerstone of Bell worship was child sacrifice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Was child
and
sacrifice.
And sex.
Yeah. Yes.
That's why so many people worship Baal in the Bible, because you went and you got a prostitute and did it in the temple. Yeah. Yep. I mean, who wouldn't want to do that, right? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
So
that's worship.
I mean, you don't want to believe that this stuff is still going on, but I mean, they're bragging about it. I mean, they're open with it.
There's a song called "Take Me to Church." That is Baal worship. Every time I hear it, I'm like, that's a worship song to Baal. Like, guys, come on. What, you don't sing that. As soon as that song comes on, I have to turn it off. It grosses me out to my core. Like, absolutely to my core, grosses me out. But anyway, I thought you guys should see this. People out there, keep an eye on your kids. Watch what they're getting in. Don't just let them go in and ingest entertainment without knowing about it. My son and I, we had to talk about what games and what shows he was watching, you know. He's 13 years old. I know at 13, I was getting real curious about things. And, you know.
As you're supposed to do.
Yeah. And be involved.
Well, and that's the trick. You have to parent your kids. I'm sorry. We keep looking for pretty ways to say this stuff. But if you have a kid, you parent the kid. You raise the kid. You're there for them. You because their world is not. We live in a world of predation. We live in a world where there is real evil. And people will make fun of it. They will rant and rave and say that evil doesn't exist and you're making fun of things.
You're here.
I watch and evil is glorified. Evil
very
is
much
glorified in a lot of forms, sometimes subtle, sometimes obvious. And the trick is recognizing and refusing it.
Was it the Oscars or the Emmys or what was that we were talking about?
It was the Grammys.
The Grammys, something like that.
Grammys. Just had that.
And it was one of those things that I didn't care about.
Called Unholy, and they went all kinds. What bugged me more was the intro. The introduction to the song was about what was that? To all the rebels and rule breakers, and this whole line. And the problem is people get confused. People get confused about Satanism and Luciferianism. Mm-hmm. There are people who they think devil worshippers. That's part of why I homeschool.
I do. I homeschool for that reason.
I walked in on.
And I want my kids to be smart.
I homeschool.
I want my kids to be smart, not clones.
Right.
Yeah.
But what people don't know is Satanism is not worshiping the devil.
No.
Satanism is a religion
Heathenism.
based on
That's
self-worship.
Yeah.
And in that concept, it may not go by that name, but we live in a world of self-glorification,
We really do.
self-indulgence, self-building, self-focus, greed, and lust and corruption, all pulled into building what you want and being what you want, not what you need, not what your family needs, not what your community needs.
I'm
And I'm
good
going to tell you
person.
right now that it is out there and it has to be resisted. And it doesn't just have to be resisted externally. We have to be careful to resist it every day internally.
Exactly.
Because it creeps in. And I'm all about building people. And I'm all about building people up. That's what I do. But at the same time, you must always have discipline and watchfulness over what you want to be, what you want to represent, who you associate with. You know, if you go into a contract, you have to be careful. Yeah. When you get out of the contract, you have to assess, guys, this is how it works. And yeah, they're out here playing games. They're out here doing stuff. But you can resist it by simply not engaging. One of the most powerful things in the world that we have as individuals is what's called a boycott. You really want to punish the people, thank you, Don. You really want to punish the people who are putting out evil, turn it off.
Turn it off.
I mean,
don't
no,
buy
really,
it.
Don't talk about it, don't link
Timmy.
it. You just, I rebuke you and I walk away.
All right, so here's the deal. As a pastor, I'm going to, throw out a little theological thing for you.
Please do.
The scripture that we follow actually says you either serve God or you serve Satan. And in that scripture it elaborates that if you don't serve God and you say, I serve nothing, or I serve self, no, you serve Satan. Anything other than God is Satan. When we worship ourselves more than we worship God, we are worshiping Satan. Because that's what Satan was all about. What did he do? He worshiped himself more than God. He thought himself greater than God. Right? How many people, even the ones that go to church every week, think of themselves greater than God? They don't allow God to handle their problems. They try to take them on themselves. Right? So when Nick is saying that these things are there, and that people are like, oh, well, it's just imagery. They don't really believe it. It doesn't matter. These things, these rituals are working their way into everyday life. The things that they wouldn't be before. But
let me run a parallel, okay? Because people can recognize evil. Like, if it's direct out front, people won't see it. Like this, they just can't see it. If somebody was running around literally flying like the ISIS flag or whatever, right? And they're saying, "Oh no, I'm not part of this organization. I just they just it's for production."
I like the colors of the flag. I like the way it looks.
Whatever. No one would go, what? The idiots who run around with Nazi flags. And yeah, I'll call them idiots. If
we know what they stand for.
Nazi is an idiot offends anybody, a literal Nazi, you have the right to be offended.
Yeah.
You have the right to be wrong. But what you fly influences what the world sees you as, even if you don't believe it. That's why I'm constantly. You guys don't know how hard I am about talking to Luke. Like, are you sure you want to have this on?
It is a nice flag.
Are you sure you want to do this? Because you forget that you are a pastor and you are a person of this.
I don't forget it.
You have responsibility to maintain your image, and that what happens reflects on others.
Okay, so Nick, I have a question though.
Yeah.
I do enjoy the Königs Grazer March. And sometimes I listen to it while I work. What does that make me?
I am sorry, either you used a word that I am not familiar with or my hearing didn't catch.
The Königs Grazer March. Is that the song they played in Indiana Jones when they were burning the books?
Oh, okay.
Like, I enjoy that song.
Okay. Well, that's the thing.
Absolutely,
If you're
24
putting,
hours.
you're not putting any association to it for real.
No.
That's a very different kind of thing. I can see that. By that logic, there are so many rock songs that I listen to.
Yeah.
You know what I found most offensive about the other night?
What's that?
Was Alice Cooper was doing cooler stuff than that in the 70s.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, these people are amateurs, all right.
Right.
I mean,
yeah.
Wasp was had a flaming codpiece, all
Dude,
right.
Black
I mean,
Lawless,
these
man,
people
yeah.
are amateurs, man. I mean, there's nothing offensive about what they were doing. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
it's just ugly people up there with skin tight leather, like rolling around on each other, and
So-
it's like boring. And the song stunk. I mean, there's
Now,
better
Alice
satanic
Cooper-
songs in the 80s, man.
Alice Cooper got saved, and he's born again Christian.
Alice Cooper is a Christian, man. He is Christian to the core.
And he wanted to stop being Alice Cooper, but his
Yeah.
pastor said, "No, the world needs a saved Alice Cooper."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know how many rock stars are still alive today? Like Dave Mustaine would be dead today if it wasn't for Alice Cooper.
Yeah.
And he's able to talk to these guys and nobody can. But the thing about it is though is these people, they think they're cute, they think they're being offensive, and they think what they're doing is like some kind of out edgy, and it's just tired. It's boring. These people are amateurish.
Well,
Come on.
There's nothing scary about what they're doing.
Bite the head off
I'm
a
gonna
few
push
bats,
back.
and then we'll talk.
Seriously, yeah, bite some head on some freaking bats, man.
I'm gonna. Well, let me let me
boring,
push
man.
back a little bit, okay? Just
All
a
right.
little bit,
All
Yeah,
right,
please.
Okay. Yeah.
because I don't. So I don't think these people that we're talking about, these stars, I don't think we would know their names if there wasn't an agenda that was actually pushing them to the forefront.
That too.
And so,
There you go.
so and I got news for you. I'm pretty sure that none of them are independent. They have marching orders and they must do what they're told, or else they lose it all, 100%. And so they do
Faustian
not
deal.
have the freedom. They do not have any freedom in what they can do. I'll give you a good story. Recently, I say recently, in the past few years, there was I'm not going to go, get all into it, but there was a boy band that came out called Why Don't We?
And they
if
did.
Yeah, they were big. What's that?
No, go ahead.
Yeah,
And they did.
well,
He said.
yeah, right.
And they did.
But yeah. So why don't we? And they I believe they got tangled up in a really crappy contract, and they basically became slaves to the whole machine of having to tour and go here, go there, and it really took a toll on their health. And I'm speaking as a father of a diehard fan. And I kind of watched from the sidelines, seeing what was happening. And I'll tell you what, man, it breaks my heart because they went from being like super awesome, being indie artists, to all of a sudden having that, having to sell out to their masters.
Well, let me give somebody let me give like an example.
Yeah, but check this out, dude. Check this concept. That's the thing about the lure and the fish.
Yeah.
If you're a clever fish, you don't take that lure. That's the thing. Like, the sympathy goes so far with me because I've been a musician my whole life, and I played like 1994. I was playing, in front of like 60,000 people in this festival, and this producer from Argentina says like, "Dude, you guys are gonna be the next Rage Against the Machine. I can see it. I want to sign you up." I told him right there, like, "Dude, I hate communism. Fuck off." And that was a lost opportunity. You know what I mean?
Right.
But that's the thing. Like, if you take the lure,
Yeah.
Well,
if you don't have a
let me
good
give you an
foundation,
example.
You're vulnerable, man.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a group that at once upon a time had a #1 hit in 27 different countries. They were a household name. Everywhere they went was mayhem. They still hold the record for the highest decibels screaming fit of fans in the world, and it was 145 decibels. Okay, all right. The name was Hanson. All right.
Oh yeah.
Okay. By their third album, they realized that if they kept going with the group where they were going, they would eventually hate their lives and they were going to quit. And so what they did was they walked away from a several $1 million contract. They walked away from superstardom, and had their own formed their own label. Okay, and even though they were buried by the music industry, wanting everybody to forget them, and lampooned and made fun of or whatever, they quietly. Yeah, they have 17 children among all three of them. They're all three happily married, and they've been quietly building a fan base, and they're starting to sell out arenas again. They were on the Masked Singer.
See, that's how you do it. Rick Springfield is another example. He's been out there quietly honing his craft since the '80s, and I think it's just so cool, you know. It's so cool.
And I'm here to tell you, listen to Hanson. I'm serious. They are awesome. They are awesome, and your kids can listen to them, and you can listen to them. They're like a Jackson 5 style
I Kissed the Girl and Hanson T-shirts before I have to go for a second.
Yeah. I don't care what you guys say. Listen to them. I'm telling you, they're good. They are.
Hey, dude, I believe you, buddy.
All right, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. I'll check it out. I got.
You want to know who's real good?
Like I love listening to music.
You want to know who's real good?
Yeah.
Who's real good?
If I listen to Hampton, Lemmy might.
I'll show you who's real good.
Okay, well, Lemmy will disown
Chrome Dog
you.
is real good.
Yeah, Lemmy will disown you. I'm sorry.
Chrome Dog is real good. You should hear this cat sing.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, here we go, man.
A big shout out. Hold on, before you do that, big shout out. What we're about to watch is this really cool trailer that pulled the resources of Luke Stone as well as Timmy Mellows, aka Tim Kareem, in the chat. So big shout out to you, man. Thanks for making this trailer for us.
Yeah.
Hey Amanda, what's up?
Check this out.
Epsilon City needs heroes, but will Scratch, the Chrome Dog, have what it takes to answer the call? Chrome Dog, starting February 3rd on Indiegogo.
Music is important.
Yeah.
Music is important, my friends. It's
Okay,
good,
let me
tough.
address this. I'm not outed as a fanson. I am openly fancy. Openly.
Cool.
Nice.
There you
As
go.
long as
No
you
problem.
accept it.
I mean,
I accept it. I embrace it, man. They're awesome.
You know what? All jokes aside, you should be able to listen to whatever you want to listen
Yes.
to, whenever you want to listen to it.
Doesn't
It's
matter how that
free
makes you look.
music.
It's what you like.
Yeah.
And we'll love you.
Yeah, like what you like. I'll be honest with you, Hanson. Those guys are talented.
Just listen to them, all right?
They have skill. Like my wife and I actually introduced our daughter
Plus,
to
they
21
avoided the
Pilots.
pitfalls, and they're happy. They're happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's
like,
cool. That's
21
an
Pilots
story.
is awesome.
yeah. So yeah, I'm really into different kinds of music and all the time, and yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I like right now.
Dude, I listen to everything from Mozart to Mudvayne. It depends on my mood.
Yeah,
You know?
really good stuff. I'm starting to get into some country music.
There you go.
That I didn't
There's
think I
some
would get
good
into.
country.
Yeah.
There is some.
Yeah, some of it I really
good
like.
exists, especially independent.
Yeah,
There's
some very good stuff out there.
Well,
And I find that independent artists are some of the better because they
man.
they do what they write what they want, what they feel.
Tom McDonald's the
it's-
best rapper in the world right now.
You darn right he is.
Yeah.
He's
I mean,
100%
he is.
independent.
He just is.
Yeah.
100% independent.
I think
100%.
like I always thought. You guys may not know this, but I like rap and hip hop. Like I will listen to rap. Like I loved Eminem.
Well, okay. As long as you're clarifying actual rap and not mumble rap, because
No.
Oh yeah.
No, Snoop Dogg.
No,
Snoop,
he
yeah.
is
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Risking
actually,
my black card revoked.
I was a Tupac fan.
I hate rap. Take my black
there you
card.
go. There you go.
That's all right. You can hate it.
No, there's nothing wrong with it.
Well,
One of my
let me tell you
favorite
what
artists
happened, though.
is
Tom McDonald snuck around and beat Sam Smith and Taylor Swift out of the top 2 spots and took the #1 spot over a Christmas holiday with a song that he wrote about his girlfriend. And in the video, he brought his parents in. So this is our life goal. We want to wind up being in love as they are, as old as they are.
Yeah.
And
I really like that Capaldi guy.
It's so wholesome it makes your teeth hurt. Okay, and they managed to get #1 completely independent of the industry, and on Billboard with that song.
I really like that Capaldi guy, Peter Capaldi's nephew. I can't remember his first name, but man, I really like that guy. I love that dude.
Right.
These are some really good artists out there, and I think I love independent music as much as I love independent comic books. I think that some of your best stuff that's out there is coming from the independent market. Now, I will say this also, if you're out there and you have an independent comic book and you are willing to sell me your book in bulk at a discount, I am getting ready to get a booth at the local flea market. There is no comic book shop in this town. And I'm going to get a booth and I'm going to stock it with independent comic books.
Oh, awesome.
So that people can go through and they can buy comic books in this town. There's not a comic book for 20 or 30 miles. Comic book store.
Dude, isn't that sad?
It's like an hour away is the closest comic book store in Evansville.
Not unusual.
And that's part of the problem with
not anymore.
Traditional, the brick and mortar. You can't hold up because I've said the same thing. If I hit money, heck, if they would pave the access road behind my house, because there's a little tiny access road, I'd put a shed down there and turn it to a little independent comics and game shop.
Yeah.
Because I'm about both. And just
technically all we need is a little bit of square footage and a place to display the comics. And if they're good enough, they'll sell themselves.
They will.
Oh yeah.
We talked about this last week with the amount of sales that are going to graphic novels and floppies, the individual issues, and how a lot of that's propped up by what we talked about today, the number of different variant covers. Those are selling to the shops, but they're not selling to the customers. So the shops are stuck with product that's not moving, but it's reflected on the sales numbers. And so you might think today this book has done well, but in 3 months you find out those shops aren't buying anymore because they've closed down. Mm-hmm. And so now your sales numbers tank. And what happens is when the sales numbers tank and vendors aren't paying anymore and the distributor now has money that they can't pay, they're not paying the publishers and the publishers can't pay the talent. And we're finally starting to see where it all breaks down. And that's why crowdfunding independent comics is working. It's working.
Luke, I saw this YouTube video about Hobby Lobby closing down. And it was not a comic-related channel. It was just like these two black chicks looking for cute stuff for the living room, But what was funny is that all the shelves were clearing out. It was like a 75% discount.
Mm-hmm.
But when they filmed the comic book section, it was filled with unsold comics at 75% discount. People are not touching modern comics; they're just sitting there. Yeah. And that's a testament of what's really happening.
Yeah, they're just sitting there. What's not sitting there?
Dave. It's been an odd one a little bit because of us both being sick, but I hope you've enjoyed it.
Yeah, it is a fun one. So here is a book that I'm a part of. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is the same creative team for Hybrids. Sans, the editor, because I edited this one, and I'm not the writer. I'm the artist. And then Patrick Gamma is the colorist for this. And we have a variant cover on this book. The variant cover is from. Jeez, look at this, man! I can't wait to see this in color.
Isn't that great?
My gosh! So here's the thing: I'm a huge Aaron Lopresti fan, and have been for a long time, and not just because of his art, but because of who he is. I mean, he's a Christian, a very outspoken Christian in the comic book world, drawing mainstream comic books at one point, right? And so I've always been a fan of this guy, and he's part of the reason why I associated and identified as a Comicsgate creator, because he is unabashedly Comicsgate. So is Graham Nolan. Two of my heroes growing up, loved both of those guys, and they do it without the drama. They do it based on, like, this is what we believe. And as Christians, they kind of got pushed out of the mainstream.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as a Christian, for a while, even before I even said I was a CG guy, they identified me as that because I'm a Christian and I'm more conservative leaning, even though I'm still very liberal for a Christian in many senses.
Yeah.
But they kind of push you there, right? So a big fan of him. And so when I found out that that Justin had convinced Aaron to do a variant cover, and I found out he was going to be drawing characters that I had a hand in creating, I almost fanboyed a little bit. Now, I have purchased some art from Aaron that he's shipping to me. I'm a big Swamp Thing fan, and so when he put out that Swamp Thing image that he did, I was writing his DMs. I'm like, I need that. I need that. It's going to go right up in front of me. You guys won't be able to see it, but I want to be able to look at it so I can be inspired as I draw. Because now I've got my drawing tablet right here in front of me, and then I've got a drafting desk now right over here, which I'll have a second camera set up for when I do some traditional live drawing. Because I'm going to learn how to do all of those, use those old tools, and kind of, share that knowledge. Because unfortunately, some of the people that have been doing it for ages, they don't share that knowledge as much. You know, they just kind of stay in their lane and they do their thing. I want people to learn it. I want young people, like, or new people that are wanting to learn. I want to give them the tools and knowledge to be able to create the way they want to, with all kinds of tools and all kinds of resources. And so I've got all this set for that, and I want to have I've got great art I'm going to put up around me so that I can be inspired to do more great art. So when I talked to him about that, I was like, hey, I'm really looking forward to seeing that cover. I said, I managed to do, I designed those characters. And he goes, so you're to blame. He goes, they're very complicated designs. I said, I know. I actually didn't realize that Justin was going to hire me to do the interiors. I thought I was just doing the character design and he was going to hire someone else.
Well, hold on. You're not telling it right. That's not how it went down.
Okay.
You and I, we get done with Chrome Dog, okay? And you say, okay, that's great. You know, you got this book and everything. He says, and you said, so who's the artist you're going to get to do this? And I said, well, I don't really know. And you said, well, I'm going to do the book for you. And I said,
yeah,
you are. And I said, and so that's how it went. It wasn't like, oh yeah, hey Luke, will you please do this book for me and do carry all the water for me, please? No.
Wait. Are you saying that Luke Stone, took a massive project basically on himself without really asking anybody and just simply declared, by the way, don't have enough on my shoulders trying to invent the free crowdfunding universe, running my own comic, trying to get games launched, doing underhanded graphic novel shenanigans for film directors he has
right.
And single-handedly resurrecting the public domain concept all at once.
Now, I'm not single-handedly doing anything. No, but when I designed the character, I did not think at first that I was going to be the one drawing it, right? And I liked it. I was like, oh, this would be fun. But then I realized that, dang, I've screwed myself because this is a very complicated character that I've got to draw over and over and over and over again. But it's going to be fun. And then the same, I got into this thing with the, ooh, this would be cool. You know that moment like that? You guys are creators, you know that. Ooh, this would be cool. You get into that kind of mindset, and that's what happened with both of these characters. Ooh, that would be cool.
Well, but and part of that is I just gave you the reins. I'm like, hey,
you did, yeah.
You know, I have some rough ideas of what I want to do, and I'm like, here, create something, and you know, whatever you think is compelling, let's see what it looks like, and then you know, we just kind of had a jam session, and that's the act of creation that I think is missing everywhere.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to work on the book
glad.
too.
Yeah, I'm so happy for this.
Yeah, because I thought the story was cool. I thought the character was really neat. I mean, it's a bionic. It's like a metal werewolf.
Yeah.
But it's like an average Joe working guy stuck inside this body, right?
Yeah.
And so he just uses the body as a tool.
He has no choice.
Did you use the Egyptian god as inspiration for the design? Because I'm getting hints of that in a very cool
little
way.
bit, yeah. I mean, a little bit, yeah.
Who was that? I missed it.
Thought, I think it's like the jackal god.
Yeah.
Egypt.
I use that a little bit for the head, yeah.
Huh. It's awesome, man. It looks awesome.
Anubis?
Yeah. And I thought it would be so funny. So even when we were doing the pages, I said, what if, like, you can read the first 10 pages. I said, what if in this fight, like, the head gets stuck on, it doesn't come off when everything else busts off? Because we have got this image up here where everything's, you can see right there, where everything busts off right here.
So real quick, Timmy Mello, I just want to address, yes, Stargate vibes, sure, because that's how everybody gets to Ringgold. Spoiler alert, that was originally... They came through a Stargate, and then it got destroyed by design once they came over. It was a tremendous reset. We won't call it the Great Reset, but it was a big exodus from this planet to that one, so they could start over. And that was 2,000 years prior to the events of what happens in Chrome Dog #1.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but I wanted to go with fun. I said, so what if I make the head have expressions while he's fighting? Like, what? Like, would that be? Yeah. Are you okay if I do that?
Yeah, exactly. I was just like, let's go with it. It's so meta. I mean, we're already meta. Let's do it.
Like I just like this would be fun.
A Sonic the Hedgehog insert. It really does.
A little bit.
I mean that with love. It looks like somebody's Sonic OC from DeviantArt got loose.
Yeah,
but I got grafted onto this guy's skull.
Yeah, but I also did a couple of other things. I said I'm going to do my typical layout style, which, to be honest, I kind of got a little bit from Brian Dawson, who was doing layouts for me for so long. He and I kind of had a similar mindset, and I just like a lot of the choices that he made, and a lot of those he's influenced me now in the way I draw a lot, as far as the pacing goes, and so I've been not reading, but studying manga.
Manger.
And so if you notice, especially on these 2 pages that I have up right now, there is some manga-esque paneling.
Yeah.
And some of the tools that they use for action and stuff is in there, and then I mixed it with Western comics. So I'm like, I was like, Justin, I'm having a lot of fun with this.
Yeah, he doesn't realize it, but he's just rediscovering the anime Western fusion style.
I'm having fun with it.
Very, very good thing.
I'm also using a different inker than I normally use. I'm using a quill instead of a G pen. So and so I'm playing around a lot with this, and so this is like a playground for me.
Yeah.
Because when I read the script, he's in a playground. Scratch is in a playground, literally. And I was like, there's like this 80s, kind of 90s fused environment with low tech mixed with high tech. And the fact that this dude is a bionic werewolf walking around and nobody bats an eye. Yeah. He's having perfectly normal conversations with people. And I'm like, I love this so much that, and you guys know, I rarely take on books from other people that I don't think are any good. I left a project after its second book because I was like, I just don't like this. It's not speaking to me. It's not fun. I don't want to do it.
What,
so,
comics can be fun? Wait a
They
second.
can be. And this book is very fun.
Man.
You guys can read the first 10 pages and know that it's very fun. So it's a lot of fun.
For
It's
free.
very
You
enjoyable.
can just click on that link on the campaign page. Just click it
for
download
free.
it, read it.
Here's some of the unlettered pages that you can see. So as you'll notice, there's a different environment. The lighting is a little different because the Ringgold has a different atmosphere. So that was really tricky to get the vibe, and Patrick finally found it. Because
I couldn't be more happy.
the highlights aren't going to look the same, in the morning. I mean, you've got a blue sun and a violet sky, so you're going to have this soft, cool look over everything. But then there's a lot of things from Scratch's perspective with this yellow matrixy kind of layover on everything. Here he's tracking everybody with his AI.
Did you watch
his
a
AI.
program called Person of Interest by any chance?
I might have caught an episode here and there, but I didn't really like zero in. It wasn't something that inspired this, or unless it was just floating around in my brain.
No, it's just the imagery felt.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, very familiar.
So one thing I want to kind of go back to is you mentioned about the him leaving the head on. You actually played right into my my literary trap, because I was wanting to I was trying to come up with a way so that what's her face Sarah would actually like recognize Wally still. She I wanted her to see him as this mascot, and so with that head still intact, she could make that recognition.
Right.
And as we'll see in the next few pages, she's not she's smarter than she lets on. So but yeah, so that's definitely, I didn't want to scare her. I didn't want her to get scared either.
Yeah, it worked right into that. So Grey Wolf, I've got a video showing how I set up Clip Studio for standard comic book size US comics. Feel free to go through my channel, and it's one of the more recent videos that's not live, so it's a pre-recorded video. So yeah, you check that out. It makes it very easy.
That's definitely on my. I watched it and I have downloaded the PNG template. I want to get the template done. Saved as a template in Clip Studio.
Yeah.
Because I would hate, one of my big fears has been when you've dealt with Kindle, making just a regular book, how much you have to deal with the formatting just to submit through KDP is a nightmare. I've been terrified I'd do a comic and the formatting would go and I'd end up having to redo the whole thing. So something like that is a lifesaver.
Yeah. Yeah, so Derek hasn't shown up today, so we're going to take a little more time on this. So how do you justify charging $15 to $20 on a crowdfunder and then sell to LCSs? They can't sell at that price. Look, here's what we do. We offer variants and exclusives that are only available through crowdfunding. When you charge a bigger price at the crowdfund, the idea is that you're helping us get this book made, okay? And what we do is we offer a cover price on the book for one cover that will go to the retail stores.
Yeah.
The main cover. And we do sell that book at a discount to the retailer so they can put it in the stores. But when you crowdfund with us, you're not just getting the book. You're also getting all the extras that go along with it. And we're making sure that it's worth the value. Speaking of worth the value, we're going to go to a couple of the tiers I just want to point out, because there is a featured tier, the Arrow Comics Bundle number 2. This is very new. It's $40, but it is very new. Let me get through. So here's the different covers. You can get the first variant cover, which there's only one, the Aaron Lopresti. That's like the finished art, obviously. And then you've got the part-time, which this is a black and white line art edition. So
I like
you're gonna,
that one.
yeah. So you're gonna get just all the black and white line art on this one. So you're gonna be able to see that. It's a very limited run. We're only doing it for this book, for this campaign, and you won't get it beyond that. But it's something that Justin wanted to do, and I thought it was a pretty cool idea.
Yes, and also it will remain unlettered based on the feedback I've gotten from some folks, because we want to show off your art.
Yeah, we were going to throw in letters, but that just makes it easier for me. Now I don't have to make the letters all black and white, because you saw I used a lot of color in the letters in the lettering. Yeah, so we do have the Arrow Bundle #1, which you were able to get on the Rift Riders campaign. So this will also include the Rift Riders book, just like you did over there. So if you've already gotten the Arrow Bundle from Rift Riders, you're going to want to jump over and get Arrow Bundle #2 from the Chrome Dog campaign. So you can get both on this campaign as well. So if you're brand new to this and you've not seen Arrow books before, you can get Bundle 1 and Bundle 2. Bundle 2 is really cool because it includes Hybrids #2, HeroBot Zero #2, and the Revolt #2. But you're also going to be able to get Soltac #1. Now, yes. Craig is signed up with Arrow Comics. Now, his production is done, I believe, and we are going to be going to print very soon and doing fulfillment for his Volume 1 trade. But the Volume 1 trade is being broken down into individual books. So there's going to be 3 coming out of that, so he can release 4 later this year, okay? So he's breaking it down into little chunks so that he can produce at a faster rate and get the story out a little bit faster. Kind of like what I do with Hybrids, kind of like what Justin is doing with Chrome Dog. And so this is the first opportunity you'll be able to get the Soltac #1 individual floppy, okay? Which is going to have some extra stuff in the back for you. And that is the very first image. The cover is the very first drawing he ever had of his main character done. So, very cool cover. You also get the Fool #1, which the Fool ties in to Paragon Universe. So, very cool. The interiors are being colored by Patrick Gamma, which you hear that guy's name a lot.
And he's doing some amazing work on that book. Just incredible.
Yeah, Patrick is a fantastic colorist, and so he's doing the colors on Chrome Dog. He's doing the colors on another book that I'm drawing. He does the colors on Hybrids. He's doing the colors on the Fool.
We're keeping him busy.
We are keeping him busy. And so you can get that, and then obviously you get Chrome Dog #1. Both of those tiers are $40, okay? No. Arrow Bundle #2 is $40. I believe Arrow #1 is $50.
Yep.
Yeah, because it's the same price as what you would get it
on the first bundle, 6 books
yes.
on the second bundle. Yeah.
Yes, and so you'll eventually, both those bundles will also eventually make it onto the ArrowComics.store. So that's the Arrow stuff. Now, Midnight Shift. You want to talk about this stuff, Justin?
Yeah.
I'm gonna save my voice. It's your campaign. Sure. I'm over here selling it for you.
Well, I appreciate it, Luke.
I want you to sell this book because I want to finish it.
Yeah, but you're giving us, the artist side of things too, and the business side. So I appreciate that.
Don't be a freeloader, Justin.
Right.
Make it happen, brother.
So yeah, as
that's my job.
This is so if you notice on all of these tiers, I've kind of kept a theme of a working man. You got first shift, second shift, part-time, work from home, and this one's called the Midnight Shift. And this one features the Lopresti cover, comic book, plus a Lopresti, I guess you could say virgin print, because it doesn't
metal
feature
print.
all the trade metal.
Yeah,
it's
we're
a
just
metal
gonna call
print,
it metal print.
Yeah, metal print, but it doesn't feature all the other like logo and whatnot on it.
Yeah.
And I cannot wait to update the graphic on this one with the actual like finished product.
Yeah, as soon as we have the finished one, we're going to update all the graphics on it.
I bundled these two together as a for those of you that are interested in just doing that. So it'll come with those two in the stretch goals, and then same with the swing shift, which I call it that because this is the OG cover. So, aw, oh, just
Thanks,
sweet. But yeah, with the swing shift, it's the same deal. This is just the standard Luke Stone, just phenomenal cover. But we also get a nice metal print where you get to see the two moons of Ringgold, which is Lux and Proximo, that's very important to me to show in this first. Because I definitely want to make the distinction that this is not planet Earth. It's completely new world that we all get to explore together. So
nice.
So yeah. And then the all-nighter bundle is basically what I've done is I've put those two tiers together, and then I tacked on the line art edition. So you get all 3 books plus 2 metal prints and the stretch goals all in one bundle. So it makes it like super easy. And one thing that I've done as well is I've made I'm pretty sure every perk I've turned into add-ons in this campaign for ease of shopping for folks. I mean, I know that this is not really shopping, but I'm just saying for ease of use.
Which is what we would have done on Fun to My Comic. Is you would just be able to add all the perks into your shopping cart. And so we have to be a little more creative on how we do that with Indiegogo. But as soon as Fun My Comic is up, I mean, it's going to be fun running that. I can't wait, man. I just wish it was ready.
I want to highlight while I still have the mic. So it's 50. So the first 50 backers, first 50 physical backers, will receive a metal trading card, which will be trade dressed. I'm gonna figure out the design. I have an idea for which Marvel esque trading card design from back in the day, back in the 90s. I want to kind of get away from the Impel look and maybe do more skybox, just something new, something fresh that I want to kind of bring to the table for the Ringgold universe stuff. So, but yeah, first 50 physical backers gets one of those, and we're almost. I mean, we're getting there. I mean,
getting there.
We are getting there.
Yeah, you got a digital version.
Yep, work from home digital.
Stretch goal number 1 at 3,500. Or you're going to get this. That looks like a 6 a.m.
Yeah, 6 a.m. chromium sticker. Chrome Dog needs to be in chromium. So here we go.
Has to be chromium, man.
He's got
has to be. Wally the Wolf sticker, which is locked. See their concept art sticker.
Hey guys, I gotta go help my dad pick lemons, so I'm gonna head out.
Cool.
All right, yeah, go pick them lemons, man.
Thank you, Pedro.
Yours too. Awesome, man. Good luck.
Yeah, everybody, back Tropical Magics.
Yeah,
for sure.
Coming right up, the second chance. We're building up that mailing list. But dude, awesome. Thank you for having me, and I'll see you in the funny papers, people.
Yes, sir.
See you in the funny
Always,
papers.
Pedro.
Nothing but love.
Yeah. Yep, another bit of Arrow Comics book, man. I'm telling you, Arrow Comics is killing it. Killing it these days. But yeah, that's what you got going here, man. This is great. Right now, we are currently sitting. Let me give you a.
Yeah, refresh that bad boy. I mean.
Actually, yes, I would. I would love to be on your show with Lepresti. Absolutely, 1,000%. I would love to do that.
Tomorrow. That's tomorrow night, everybody.
Yeah.
So I threw the link in the chat for his YouTube.
Yeah, so right now we're sitting at 39 backers. And let's see if we got one. We've not got one. Come on, guys. Let's get 40 backers. Let's bacon wrap this thing a little bit. I mean, you can get in here at a reasonable price. I'm going to be sending this out on my mailing list today, getting this out to people, letting people know that they can do this. I do believe there's a secret tier perk.
There is, just not yet. I'm kind of waiting a
Yeah.
little bit on that one.
Yeah, don't blow your load all at once.
Right?
Yeah, hold on to it, man. You got a
Hey,
lot of
speaking of
let me,
things, you need to talk to Luke if you're talking about that trading card, because you'd be amazed what can come from the properly designed trading card.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna.
I have the old Marvel template, by the way.
Yeah, well, I want the one that was after that one. There's a
Oh,
there
yes,
was a
I know.
look. There was a look and a style that I want to bring to my Ringgold cards that
Sweet, yeah.
is more minimalistic and not so corporatized. You know what I'm saying?
Yep,
Well,
yep.
well, let me point this out before we settle down here.
Go ahead.
I because I'm the buy one back one guy, or because I seem to have my finger in a lot of pies. But I've been let in on a lot of campaigns and secrets that I'm not privy to share. But I've gotten to see a lot of art, a lot of upcoming projects, a lot of companies that are about to like expand, and some names that you would know that are currently working on the download that plan to announce their defection before the end of the year. And I have seen some incredible projects that are just waiting in the pike, and a lot of them are contingent on when FMC hits. They want to be on FMC, and so a lot of them are holding off until that solidifies and they find out what's going on. But I can tell you that the future of comics is secure, and it's right here in this corner of indie comics. And I know some of the things that Arrow Comics in particular has in the pike. I'm not going to steal their thunder, but I'm saying right now, before next December, there's going to be an acknowledgement of this corner of the comic book universe that is not current. The mainstream can ignore us only so long, but by the end of this year, they're not going to be able to ignore what's going on over here any longer. They can ignore Young Rippa and just say that he's a one-off, but what's about to hit, the projects I'm seeing, and Zim is just part of it. The Zymphonic, that whole thing is just part of it. But I'm telling you right now, we're about to hit the golden age of independent comics again, and it's a glorious thing. And so, if anybody's out there that are losing hope, or anybody's out there that are wondering if the future is if we're blowing smoke, if the future is actually a bleak place, let me assure you, everything else might be bleak right now, but the future of comics is going to be incredible. And also gaming. What the heel turn that Hasbro pulled split a lot of great creators out of that paradigm out into society, and they are making their own thing, and they're about to take TT RPGs to a next level too. And so I'm telling you that right now it may look like they got control of the culture, but their hold is cracking.
Yeah, we're coming around, man. It's coming back. And next week we launch the RPG, and so you're going to be seeing a lot about that. We launched the RPG and the trade paperback for the Killing Field. From there, you're going to be able to get. We're working on what Arrow tiers are going to be available on that campaign, but you're going to get that, and you're going to get the first volume trade paperback. You're going to get the quick play available on there, but you're also going to get the second volume quick play. Part 2 is going to be available for that. I'm telling you, there's so much in that bundle. We're going to run that for a full 60 days. Nick and I are going to be hitting it hard so that everybody can get a hold of this book. This manual, I'm telling you, what Nick has written will change independent gaming. Okay? It will change independent gaming. Lockdown Games, when we launch that later this year, will be, I think, a new household name. I really do. Nick deserves the spotlight to be on his brain for a bit. This guy is a genius game designer that lifts everybody else, pushes everybody else to the top, and does nothing for himself to do that. And it is time people realize how effing good Nick Tockert is at making TTRPGs. This guy has designed, I'm telling you, the Hybrids game is, I could not be any happier with how this thing has turned out. It is gorgeous. The way, guys, I can't wait for you to play it. You've seen the live play of the quick play that we did.
Yeah.
And it was so much fun. And people got into it. I want you so bad to get both trade paperbacks, Volume 1 and Volume 2, and to play this game. Because once you've done that, you're going to be so ready for Volume 3 of the books, issues 10, 11, and 12. You're going to go nuts. I do have a link for Hybrids. Go to hybridsrpg.com. And you can go, that will take you directly to the sign-up page. If you want to buy comics, I do have floppies available. We're going to start shipping out again tomorrow. All the shipping, I have a shipping fulfillment center downstairs in the basements that I'm putting together. We'll start shipping tomorrow, and that is, you can either get that at aerocomics.store, or you can get them at, there's a couple of variant covers that's only available on my website. And there's a variant cover that's only available on Arrow's website for the latest book, which is cool.
Just a thing, with tax season kicking up, be sure to remember that you can declare those rooms business areas.
Yep.
I'm serious, because that's going to take up a lot of space. And one of the reasons I signed on with Luke and I turned other people down was his policy on fulfillment. Because I watch a lot, and in the last year or so, I've seen a lot of titles come and go. And there are people who talk a talk, and there are people who will just do the job. They'll walk the walk. And I think starting next week, you're going to see Luke Stone walk a walk you've never seen before. I think when it launches, and I'm going to tell you, you may notice I've been very quiet. Yeah. Awesome, Blue Teddy. Tell me what you think of it. Yeah, it's.
No, the play video is on Red Valkyrie's channel.
Oh, okay. There's one on Red Valkyrie, and I think I did one on Brian K. Morris's channel too. I did a couple of the playthroughs back then, and I know I've been real quiet about the second one, but Luke knows about the second.
Yeah.
Matt, the second module, Storming the Gates of Heck Part 2. Guys, see, unlike Luke, usually I can keep spoilers away. But what's coming is there is so much delightful. I look back at it and go, really, Nick, you wrote that. It's going to be great. Oh, Brian K. Morris, RisingTide.pub. I ran it for him. He's an independent author. He's done publishing. He used to run a show for years, Never Mind the Furthermore. I actually took it over, and now I run it Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on my personal channel. If you can look me up on Twitter, @NTalker, follow me there, and message me. I'll give you links to all sorts of goodies. I'm all about that.
Also, this guy right here, you're going to be seeing more of him. And community service. Summer is coming.
Summer is coming.
Summer is
like
coming.
that. Winter is coming. Summer is coming.
Winter is freaking over. Summer is coming, guys.
I'm ready for it. But yeah, guys, check out Chrome Dog #1, Perfect Strangers. It's going to be great. Hey, you know what? It's time for us to start wrapping up today. I want to share some with you guys. So I had a lot of fun watching this this morning, and I just want to share it with you guys, and we can have a good laugh about it. Let me see. Here we go. And I do believe that my sound is working over there. Let's check this video out, guys.
I knew that was coming when I saw the cat video.
Can you hear that?
Oh no.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I love the kitten.
Talk about creativity.
Yeah. You guys knocked me for Hanson.
This guy been doing something to get through 2020. Clarity.
I mean, that's okay. I'm a Duran Duran.
It's good.
Yes! Someone will understand. The internet is for weird. Thank you.
Oh no, counter medley? Oh.
Yep.
Yeah. I've wanted to get one of these machines. Like if I won the lotto.
This guy is amazing.
He made it to a Bond theme there at the end.
Yeah, this guy. I'm telling you.
No,
This guy. I mean, tell you.
Cat is legendary.
Yeah.
This guy's awesome.
You're going to be copyright struck so hard, it's not even funny.
I don't even care, man. That's worth it, dude. That is worth it, guys. That's the kind of positivity we want to end on right there.
That's the next big TikTok hit right there.
It already is, man. That's where I heard it today.
I bet it is. Okay.
Hold on to my fur. I like it when the dogs are barking.
I saw the cat video, and I'm like, "Oh, tell me Kim this gets this." I was talking to my wife. I'm going, Mandy, we gotta watch for this. So I get to tell. Oh God, I know what I'm doing. As soon as I'm done, go out in the living room. I'm gonna turn that on, so that she can watch it. It's gonna be great.
So that song has been living in my head the whole episode.
Oh, I believe
the whole stream. Hold on to my fur, I like it when the dogs are barking.
There are some
Hold on to
mashups
my
out
fur.
there that you just wouldn't believe. I've seen some
That
incredible
that
stuff.
guy,
Incredible
the Kiffness.
Yeah, it's the Kiffness.
He does all kinds of
Earworm.
like
Yeah.
whenever there's a video or like something like that, he takes these things and turns them into songs. And I mean, talk about creativity.
And
Somebody said earlier that the Cat's performance was Grammy material. That's,
Russ said that.
That's
yeah.
Russ. You're right,
Grammy
dude. I
material.
mean,
Yep.
it is better than some of the stuff you see on there or hear on the radio. Like I said, that's an earworm. It really is.
Taylor
It will
Swift
be in
is
my
gonna
ear
show
all
up
day.
Cat.
Yeah.
Well,
You're gonna
Well,
see.
I guess I'll
Hold
make
on
place.
to my fur.
Frog Leap did a version of "Don't You Forget About Me" the other day, and that's been on
Oh,
my
that's great.
rotation. So
Well, you know, another thing that I love, if there is a
metal version of "Don't You
Yeah.
Forget About Me."
Simple
well,
Minds
if there
is awesome.
if there is a
Oh, hey, Pixel.
what's up, man?
Pixel?
So if there is a cover of Toto's Africa, I'm
is.
in. I'm in. I love Frog Leap's cover of it. We were at Disney Springs for my mother-in-law's birthday. So we were, it was the Monday before we left. So it was a week ago Monday.
Yeah.
And so we were in, we decided to surprise her by taking her down to the Coke store and getting lunch down there and walking around at the Disney Springs. She loves it, right? So we went with, the 6 of us and had a good time. And while we're there walking around, they have live music playing all over the place. There's this one band, I mean, they were just fantastic. I sat and watched them for a minute. But as we were walking by one place, I heard this guy start strumming on his guitar. And Corey and I both look at each other and we're like, no, he's not. And sure enough, he's doing a Toto cover. Him on acoustic and a drummer. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I friggin' loved it. I had to stay and listen.
man.
I love.
Which
There's a
song
guy,
is it?
him and
Rosanna?
his partner that do a version of Africa, and just him and his partner, and he's like on an acoustic guitar and his partner's on a bass, and they're just sitting in this coffee shop, and the version of Africa they come up with is just like, holy crap! Two
Street-
guys are doing
Dude,
this.
the talent of street
Why there
musicians
aren't
and
any more
independent people out
vampires
there.
in Africa.
I'm
Yeah,
telling
there
you,
you go.
some of the best guitarists I've ever met, you will never know. They
yeah.
work a 9 to 5,
Yeah.
and it's what that song "Sultans of Swing"
Yep.
were all about. That's what Knopfler was writing about. Was these guys who they've got it, but it's a passion and a love. They're never going to be up on a stage, but they've got the skills and they've got the desire to do good music, and they go out on the weekends. They're living for Friday night.
Don't listen to Sam Smith. Listen to Jordan Smith. If you listen to anything Jordan Smith puts out, that guy has got about a 5-octave range. He's this humble little guy from Kentucky that got on The Voice and just made a copy of Sia's Chandelier his bitch, okay, and got on The Voice and won the season.
Yeah,
But
You're right. You're right.
Just the other day, he did a version of "Mary Did You Know" back in December,
Oh,
and he hits this note, man, that every hair on my body went up. And he's incredible, but he's this humble Christian kid that got on, and he did several Christian songs that season, and he has got an incredible voice. But he's a chubby, normal looking guy. And he's about the same size as Sam Smith is now. But you want to talk? He could blow Sam Smith way off the map. So if you see, and he just won some. Not the Christian version of the Grammys. He put out a Christian album.
Dove.
And he just won a
Dove
flock
Awards,
of
yeah.
doves.
yeah.
But
He won a flock of doves. He did.
Yeah, he won a flock of them, and he's incredible.
Jordan
So,
Peterson's amazing.
You know,
Here's
you
the
don't
other
have to
guy.
listen to that. There you
Here,
go.
a couple of years ago, the "Mary Did You Know" song started making it around, but it was the two singing contractors.
Right.
Like, these guys are
right.
painting houses. They're doing drywall, and they're singing together all day long. I mean, just the talent, the immense talent that's out there And people get blinded, and they're like, oh, well, it's not real talent if it's not on TV. Screw that noise, man.
I
All
got
people that get up there are the ones that
there.
play the game.
I read the lyrics and I just got totally lost. So I think I lost 3 or 4 minutes, or how, I don't know. I literally don't know how much time I just blanked because I read Russ's comment from Sultans of Swing, and like I just left for a minute, and I do apologize. So if I missed anything,
no, that song does it for me too, man. I mean,
I just went for a while.
You know, I love Dire Straits.
Okay.
They had another song that made it very popular. It was on MTV.
Yep.
You know, that's not living. That's not working. That's the way you do it. Money for nothing and your chicks for free.
Yeah.
Because it starts out. We got to move these microwave ovens. We got to move these color TVs. Yeah. I was working for.
And I canceled that song, so you won't hear it on the radio anymore.
No,
that's highly edited. No.
Highly edited now. Yeah,
highly edited song.
No, I heard it on the radio. Apparently, here in Indiana, they don't care.
They don't.
They don't care about that stuff here. They're like, no.
You can hear like the third verse of the Thunder Rolls sometimes at night. They do not even give a rat's derriere. But see, Dire Straits also had. I think they did Six Blade Knife.
Yep.
Six Blade Knife. On the Desperado soundtrack.
Brothers in Arms.
If you have
problematic,
get yourself the Desperado soundtrack.
You got to get an old copy of that Brothers in Arms in order to get the unedited one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Money for Nothing is problematic, Russ. My daughter called me problematic. She said, Dad, you're problematic. And I go, I know. But then somebody else called me based. And I still haven't figured out what that means yet.
I'm just plain grumpy.
Based is a good thing.
Based is a good thing.
So is Afternoon Delight if you know what the song's about.
Oh, yeah, it's about afternoon.
It's
about afternoon booty.
Sorry. I'm a product of old parents who did not listen to newer music. They listened to what they listened to. So I grew up with like the Eagles. And you know what? I was 41 until I found out what the heck a Kalita was. Because I had to find out. My favorite song was Hotel California. And for years, still way up there. And the opening line has that whole warm smell of Kalitas rising up in the air. I'm like, I finally lost it. I had to know. So I'm like, what is this word? So I'm like, I'll find the lyrics. I'll look up this word. That did not help me.
Asshole.
Well, good.
I just get grumpy.
I like Twisted Sister. I mean,
I did too, man.
Snyder, you know, there's a dude who's colorful. You know?
Yep. And we're not going to take it anymore. We're not going to take it.
We're not going to take it.
No! No!
No! We're not going to take it. Yes. We are not going to take it. Speaking of not going to take
hair
it.
metal. Here we are.
Speaking of not going to take it, we're not going to take it any further today. We're going to close this thing off. I got a lot of work to do. You've got a lot of work to do. We need to get out there and be creative.
Oh, no.
We need to go out there and make something bigger and better than what the industry is currently having, right?
Yep.
We need better comics and better games, better stories to tell. I know we all got them. We've got all of them. I want you to check out Ariel, the Little Mermaid. Make sure you check that out. Check out aracomics.store. Randy's got a lot of great things over there. Randy is an inspiration, guys. He's been publishing comic books.
Paragon 1.
Yeah. Randy's been publishing comics longer than most of you have been alive that are watching today, I'm telling you. And he knows a thing or two. And if you spit on his experience, you're showing your foolishness. That's what I'm telling you.
He knows a thing or two because he's seen a thing or two.
He's seen a thing or
Love
two.
this art form.
Love it.
Check out the digital versions of Spank the Monkey. We have 2 issues of Spank the Monkey up there. You will laugh. It is what Mad Magazine should have been.
I colored him myself.
Colored it himself.
I drawn
he
it.
did
I
it all
drew
himself, man.
I wrote it. I drew it, and I colored it myself. Yeah.
Even put the words on there himself.
All me.
Yeah. And so yeah, great stuff. Check out Paragon #1.
Bank 2 is a highly researched book. I can guarantee you that.
Yep, you're gonna love those books. Make sure to check those things. Check those things out.
Well,
Please.
You do amazing stuff, Ross.
Please
You
back.
inspire us better.
Please back Agent Zero's Justin Sweet's book.
Am I the only
Chrome
one that
Dog.
keeps expecting Randy Zim to call us? What did he call it? Stanley always called them true believers.
True believers. Yeah.
Base front, true believers.
There you go.
Excelsior.
That sounds just like Excelsior.
Excelsior.
I can
buy
buy
Arrow
that.
Comics. ArrowComics.store. That's where you want to go.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, we got to do it. If there's ever animated series and/or live-action movies based on Arrow Comics titles, I want to put it right now that Randy Zim cameos have to be a thing.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
it's not too
Yeah,
late.
absolutely.
If you're doing crowd,
Let's see
you
that
know what,
happen.
guys?
Just
We're going
once.
to
I
out there
just wanna see
further. If you're making independent comics right now, those of you who... I know a lot of us watch videos like this while we're working. When you're doing crowd scenes, throw Randy in the background. I'm stone serious.
I need more credits for my IMDb page, please.
Yeah.
I'd love it. I'd love it.
Well,
Let's
that
do
or 7 of 9. Trust me. So.
I need an
Seven of 9 in my
IMDb
comic.
page.
I need more credits for my page, please.
You don't have an IMDb page?
I don't know
I
how
don't.
it happened.
I only have 2.5 right now.
I don't even have a wiki. Nobody's made a wiki about me
Get
yet.
a wiki.
Yeah,
That's what she said. There you
Yep.
go.
that's what she said. Yeah, back Chrome Dog. Back Chrome Dog. Get those arrow tears on there. Check out that Lepresti cover. It's gonna be awesome. If you grab the arrow tear bundle #1, you're going to get Marv V's book, the U.S. edition of that thing. U.S. sizing, and we're shipping it right out here from the U.S. Marv V has another book coming out. Marv, your book looks fantastic. You've been real quiet today. You've been real quiet today.
A little bit, yes.
Sin
But-
Killer is Chef's kiss,
fun
folks.
to be
Mwah.
Y'all have
Marv,
got to
your
love that
art
Solid.
has improved so much. It's gorgeous. Your style is so interesting and beautiful, man.
Getting better all the time.
I am, guys,
Amazing.
follow Marv's work.
Yep.
This dude is amazing at what he's doing. He has got a very interesting story to tell. I just very compelling. Marv, keep up the good work. Make sure you guys are following Marv. Get his new book. Back that arrow tier so you can get a copy of the Marv V. But that right now, to my knowledge, that's the only way to get it is on that Arrow Bundle 1 tier, outside of driving over to Marv's house and buying one from him.
It'll be available as a single issue on the store here eventually.
Yep.
Pretty quick.
Yep.
Yeah.
And #2, man, look at that. That is a
Look at
beautiful
that.
cover.
That is.
I love it, man. I love it, dude. So good.
Yep.
And you got to check out T Bunny's working on community service. He's got Ironsides, his main character
As
over there.
soon as he's done doing his time, he'll do his comic. No.
Yes. He's getting inspired by Hanson, so he's coming around. The book is looking great. Yeah.
We need to send a long blonde wig to T Bunny. I just just show up.
They all cut their hair. Sorry, they all cut.
Yeah, they all cut their hair off. But yeah, check out T Bunny's work over there. Make sure you check out his channel and subscribe over there. He does a lot of work with writers, so he's really advocating for the writing game in comic books, which I think is something that's needed. There's not a lot of right now. Comics focuses a lot on art. If you've got a hotshot artist, you can sell a book, which is fine. But you've got to have a good story to bring him back to issue #2. You have to be able to tell a compelling story. I'll tell you, our panel right here, these guys can tell a good story, and they can draw a good story too. Be sure to check out Nick's work. He's all over Amazon. He's writing books about swords. He's writing books about RPGs and spears and axes, and he's teaching everybody how to use them for self-defense. It's amazing the work that he does with that. And he's got Big Stompy Robots, which honestly was the resume that I read to hire him, to partner with him. We own this thing. We are linked at the hip for this thing for life. this game forever, man.
So when are we going to get the simple flail or the simple mace or maybe even the simple cudgel? When's that coming?
Actually, on my list, I am going to be doing a staff and like short stick book because I want to fade into having I want to do one eventually that's just improvised weapons and how just about any object around you can be weaponized if it needs to.
Can I kill someone with this?
The Jackie Chan process, right?
Yep. If you look
Want
at
to
the
see
way
this
I
pencil
approach
disappear? Sorry.
The Joker and John Wick, who did it better? Anyway,
yeah, check that out.
There are, and if you want to be in on that and you want more support, I actually have a Patreon, the Historical Fencing Guild. So patreon.com/the Historical Fencing Guild. And for my sword fight channel, they basically get to, if they want me to do a video on something, I just do it for them.
You do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Simple.
Yeah. Or you just carry
I will kill you with these tweezers.
With these tweezers.
I will pluck out your will to live. Anyway, I digress. Check out Nick's work. Follow Nick. Nick is amazing. Next week, right here, we're launching the campaign, guys. Cannot wait. Be here. Help us make a great event. Invite people over. I may even work on a simulcast where Nerd Bacon goes out on everybody's channel next week. And so it's going to be the Nerd Nation, not just Nerd Bacon or the Bacon Nation. I mean, we're going to make a big deal about this. This book has been 3 years in the making, guys. I cannot wait for you to be able to get your hands on this thing. We've got Steve Dye that's working on the layouts of it. It's beautiful. It's fantastic. Now that I moved, we're going to get back into it.
Let's call it the Nerd Network.
The Nerd Network. There you go.
Do you draw the Flintstones naked? There's a market for that.
There's a market for that.
I love that.
So, all right. You guys know what it is.
Yabba dabba boobs.
Yep. Yabba dabba boobs. Build up more than you tear down, guys. Leave the wood pile higher than you found it. And by all means,
let's be careful
out there.
Oh, God.
Let's be careful out there. Let's be careful out there. We had a 187 at the 7-Eleven on the corner of 4th and Main. Two Caucasians of the male persuasion put a bullet through the cashier's brain. Moving on, I see a 211, half a dozen 459, 218 W's a GTA, several miscellaneous fines.